It's the smoke up, where we toke up. Time to roll up. Shit, hold up. It's the smoke up.
Okay, so then 96% of the world is in straight up sunlight.
No, they're talking about everything from when the sun is in the sky to when it's so far below that all you're seeing is this low.
Yeah, they're saying that's only 3%.
Where we toke up. Time to roll up. Shit, hold up.
You want to introduce
Welcome
the
to the Smoke Up. My name's B Deli. This here is Malachi. And we like to smoke up.
That's our tagline now?
I don't know. I don't think we need one tagline for every episode.
I like that. So this is part 2 to our space is space real episode about the moon landing, but specifically about whether NASA photoshops their images. For the first half, if you are interested in knowing what's happening, maybe watch that. But it's really they're going to function as 2 different episodes, really, because I kind of led the last one, and it was mostly a discussion on the fact that even though some photos are done in ways that don't actually have any imaging involved, we do have old photographs of the Earth from space that are not made the same way and aren't claimed to make made the same way, and they're high quality images, and that's a lot of what we were talking about. Just like, if you're curious, go back. But Bradley has a list of things here, but we're gonna warm up the show first. Bradley and I are firm believers in first base, and we're gonna try to, I don't know more baseball terms. We're gonna try to get a home run this episode.
A home run, yeah. That's what we're going for.
Did you hear about Burning Man?
Burning Man. What's this about?
Do you know what Burning Man is?
I've heard this.
So it's like a festival in the middle of the Arizona desert, either Arizona or Nevada.
Okay.
And they burn a big effigy of a man. He's like this, and he's like a big wooden statue, like a couple 100 feet tall. It's pretty crazy. But they light it on fire. It was like 3 or 4 Burning Man's back. They built it wrong, and so there was like a actual like entrance into it as it was burning. Like, it ended up just being like a burning building type of deal, and a guy just ran inside of it and killed himself.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that was a previous one, but this one got completely fucking flooded. Like, it had like sudden like storms, rainstorms out in the desert. So like they can't move their cars. They could barely walk around. Like, so they're all like trapped at the festival. And like, it's kind of funny a little bit because, I mean, of course there are people who are going to like be lower class who saved up a lot of money to go, but the tickets run for $500 to $2,700. So it's sort of a rich guy type of like retreat, you know. It's like, hey, let's go out into the woods and let's go out into the desert and be hippies for a weekend, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be. But I don't think it's as extremely tilted that way as like some people make you think, because I mean, it's like $500 to go to the gathering, and not everybody there is rich. So I think there are people who saved up a lot of money.
People who want to go to those things, make it happen.
And I do feel bad for those people, but it's also funny when rich people go through tough things.
In a way. I mean, I don't think just because you're rich, you deserve to go through tough stuff. But I think as a poor person or somebody who's had it rough, it's hard not to get a little satisfaction from seeing that happen to the people who are a little more fortunate. assuming somebody has never had it rough just because they're rich is kind of an erroneous assumption, first of all, because you don't know that. I mean, in a lot of cases, that's true.
I mean,
but
that's why
sometimes it's not.
essentialization is bad. It's just saying like, oh, all these people share the same quality, which isn't true.
Because some people,
the only quality they all share is they all went to Burning Man.
Yeah. Some people who are rich worked hard to get there, or maybe they grew up rich, but they had it rough in other ways. So, you know, it's
yeah,
you know, I don't know. You never really know somebody's story, I guess.
Yeah. So what did you want to talk about?
So we've talked about Temu a few times.
Yeah.
We're kind of unofficial
spokesman.
Yeah. Got like a thing going on. Well, turns out these motherfuckers are a scam.
I knew it.
Sometimes.
Oh. What did you? Okay.
Got this little doohickey, right? I was like, this is fucking cool.
Okay.
It's like a little keychain that you like charge, and then it's got a charge, and you can charge your phone while you're out, right? I was like, oh, that's fucking useful. It was like $6.99 or something like that.
Oh, that's expensive for something like that.
A little bit, but I was like, this is kind of cool. You see this shit?
What?
That's what was in it.
How's that even possible? They just it's like they just forgot to give you the product.
No, they straight up like fucking replaced it with that and put it in the box and sold it like
well, this isn't the charger for it?
I mean, I don't see anything. I don't see anything about there being a charger with it.
Yeah, I guess you got a nice little USB-C cord. That's funny.
Man, this thing is worth like 50 cents.
Yeah. Some coffee.
So
yeah, so only get paraphernalia is the more paraphernalia and clothing. Has any of the clothing been weird?
This is the shirt I got.
That looks fine.
Yeah. It's actually kind of nice. This is 100% polyester, which is
a weird experience, but other than that, it's fine.
Well, it's almost like a jersey or something.
It kind of looks jersey-like.
Yeah. So I don't know. Be a little more weary when you buy off of Temu.
Yeah, I want to fuck around with their tech. Mostly because I saw that Switch ad, and I know that they're up to fucking something with that Switch ad. That's some bullshit, though.
Yeah, I was pissed. Everything else I got was just fine.
I don't know why the company that we worked so hard to represent would do such a cruel act towards you.
Yeah, man, I feel betrayed. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm.
We're gonna need to call our representative.
Yeah,
call our rep.
Yeah,
our Temu rep.
Our Temu rep is gonna hear from me for sure.
Yeah, some poor dude in China working at a call center who gets arrested if he doesn't speak English to you properly.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't know, like, if a company like Temu would outsource their like labor to India for like call centers, like American companies can. I don't know if Chinese companies can do the same thing. I think they're part of a different trading block, so I don't think they do stuff like that. But I don't know.
They probably just have Chinese people.
Yeah, I assume that they'd have plenty of Chinese people in call centers.
You just end up talking to a Chinese person.
Yeah, I assume.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe they're American.
Right. No way Temu can afford that. I think Temu, if you start peeling layers, it's probably just a big factory. Like it's like a really big factory.
Well, from what I understand, I watched a video about it like before ordering from it or anything, and they basically said that the reason Temu is able to get away with such low prices on shit is because what they're doing is cutting out the middleman. So normally you order from Amazon or whatever, and they upcharge you like 1,000% or whatever. I don't know the real number, but Temu, you're buying directly from the manufacturer. Yeah. So it's going straight from the manufacturer to you instead of going through that middleman who upcharges. Yeah, so it's got to just be like a crazy giant Chinese factory that just makes bongs and cords and
fucking dildos, like shirts, and just every fucking random thing.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm sure with enough digging we could figure this out. Yeah, but I was looking at some of that fucking Temu swag and like, I mean,
yeah, they have some pretty.
I don't
nice
have any,
stuff.
and I don't have any moral compunctions like about buying. As far as I'm concerned, there's no, like, it's no better than fucking, no worse than buying from Walmart, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that anybody who has like a particular problem with Temu when it comes to ethical consumption, they don't understand where the shit they're buying comes from. Then
Yeah.
either that or if they're squeaky clean and they don't buy from fucking Amazon or Walmart or nothing, they go
They
to local
literally-
stores and
yeah.
that's it. That's the only way. Like, so, I mean,
Which I'm sure they're slipping up somewhere
yeah, I mean,
because nobody's perfect.
yeah.
But we should all try our hardest to
To be
attain
perfect and let
perfection.
everybody else know that we're better than
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Whatever things that we have on people, we drill into them.
Yeah.
Bradley, you're vegan. Everybody needs to know. Me, I'm progressive. You all need to know I am progressive. You say something not woke, I will woke it.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That's this podcast in a nutshell, actually.
Yeah.
Except for I haven't talked about veganism at all, really. But
And I'm also pro-vegan, and Bradley is pro-progression. So we're not we're not like staunch opposites here.
no, but we do have our things that we're particularly passionate about, and the other person's just kind of like, yeah, sure,
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
yeah. I think that's a pretty good way to describe it. It's like you say some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I say some stuff, you're like, yeah, sure. But you know, it's not like something you disagree with, but you're not like, you don't feel too strongly about it. I guess I assume that's how you feel about veganism, right?
I mean, I agree with it. I would be fine with just getting rid of the meat industry and making everybody just be vegan by default. I would just be fine with that.
If they just replaced all meat products with vegan meats.
It's just as it is. I mean, it's hard and inconvenient to like be a vegan. And
It's a fucked up cycle because people, like, one of the number one reasons why people don't buy vegan stuff is because it's more expensive and it's harder to find. And because of that, the people who make these products make those products more expensive and harder to find.
yeah.
So it's
Or at least stores accept them less and all that stuff. But also, like, it's just the government, it supports the industries that we have already built up to give people nutrition, you know, like the farming industries, they're all subsidized. And so, like, milk in a way is like supplemented by our tax dollars. Soy milk isn't, you know. I don't know how much soy we like pay subsidies for. I'm sure a lot, but I guarantee it's nowhere near the amount we pay for dairy, you know.
soy is a huge industry.
I know, but
like, that's
dairy
like
in the US is fucking probably
most
one
of the
biggest.
soy we grow goes to livestock.
That makes sense.
So
So
we're
that's just part of
making
the farm industry.
well, yeah, so we're making a bunch of fucking soy for the livestock to eat, and then we're making a bunch of it for people to eat as well. So
if we took all that soy and just stopped supporting the meat industry and brought it towards people, I'm sure it would be fine. All that soy, we already like fucking so much of our diet is already corn. Like, I think we can make the transition. I think
it's inevitable. I mean, we have
well,
to.
it's inevitable
eventually.
unless we live in like a fucked up dystopia. But
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we will inevitably live in a fucked up dystopia if we don't make that change as a society in the near future. I'm saying that right now. That's not me preaching to anybody. I'm just saying that's a fact.
Yeah, and it's not even like not even that it's not even, but it's not only a personal moral decision to not hurt animals. It's also a wider social decision.
Well, it's the same thing as pollution. You know,
Yeah,
I think everybody
exactly.
agrees pollution is
And that's
wrong.
what I
and
was coming
most people,
to.
if they see you littering, they're going to be like, hey, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's literally it's a climate change discussion.
It is.
you
It
know?
really is. Yeah.
But it's how much do you value not only the lives of individual animals, but the lives of every animal on Earth? You know,
Every being on Earth as a whole.
we count as the animals.
Yeah. And that includes plants as well, because obviously everything has to work together to keep the ecosystem.
Yeah. And according
you know.
to anti-vegans, plants feel pain. So don't you want those plants to also not feel pain?
Yeah, this is the dumbest argument in the world. It's like, because, okay, the animals that you raise are eating plants.
Yeah.
So the argument, that what they're trying to say is that vegans cause more harm than people who eat animals, because they're pretending that the animals don't eat plants. The animals just live off of nothing.
I think it's supposed to be like the lowest IQ version of there is no ethical consumption. You know?
But it's just a really bad way to put
It's
that.
the dumbest way to put
And
it.
even to say there is
It's
no...
really just invalidating everybody, and it's saying, no, nobody can be better. This is fucking shit because we like it, and who cares if it's
And
shit?
even when you say there's no ethical consumption, what are you implying then? That we shouldn't try? Like, what is that implying? There is no ethical consumption, but that's not an excuse to not try to not cause harm.
Well,
you know what I mean?
it would be more of like a response to being shamed by a vegan would be there's no ethical consumption would be the more like intelligent way of saying, oh, well, plants also feel pain, because what they're trying to say is we're both causing pain by our diets. They're just dumb and they don't understand. Actually, that's not true. And they're trying to make a better argument. They just don't know it, you know?
Yeah. Well, the argument is there is no way to eat without causing harm.
Yeah.
The vegan argument is, well, our diet is causing the least amount of harm, so why wouldn't you want to cause less harm than what you're doing now?
Yeah.
So,
Which they would have no answer but like disdain and being mad. And I would say it's just hard. It's a hard thing to do, you know?
I respect somebody who gives me a real answer. You know, if you just say you don't care about animals, I don't respect that answer, but I respect you for being honest.
Yeah.
But if you try to like make excuses like there is no ethical consumption, like that to me is being dishonest to yourself, because you're making excuses and you could try better, but you're just making an excuse not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's like there's no ethical consumption is a argument when someone is trying to do the pointing the finger thing at an individual.
Well,
You're trying to be an individual about your failings. But
but I don't think that's a defense for yourself. If somebody's pointing the finger at you, it's a way to point the finger back at them, but it's still not a defense for what you're doing. That's what I'm saying.
It's not a way of saying pointing it back at them. It's a way of saying, well, if we were to analyze everybody in the room would be different levels of culpable.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
And then you would come up with another reason as to why the consumption in this one area would be effective or not, or how feasible it is. That's why I think like personally, I think being a proponent of just like positively spreading the message that farming is bad without explicitly like doing like the vegan virtue signal route, which isn't it's an implicit thing that people detect. It's not an explicit thing that vegans are doing, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. That's the funny thing is like, as a vegan, one thing I've noticed is I don't even have to say I'm vegan. No, in fact, normally I don't tell people. They find out otherwise, and then they still judge me for being vegan. Yeah. And then their reason for judging me is that vegans are judgmental. Yeah. It's fucking hilarious. Like, from my experience, this is what I've noticed. People find out I'm vegan and they take that as an insult automatically, because if I'm vegan, well, why am I vegan? Because I feel like that's the right thing to do. Well, what does that mean? That means not being vegan is the wrong thing to do. So that means I'm calling you a bad person. Yeah, that's how they take it.
You're better than them,
that's
you know?
So automatically, if somebody finds out I'm vegan, they take it like, oh, this guy thinks he's better than everybody.
Yeah.
I don't even have to say it. I keep it to myself. They find out otherwise from other people and still get that idea.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like it really is self-projection at its finest.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I think like it would be better to just like fucking go about it a different way. Like it's not going to be like an individual problem. It's going to be like a cut down consumption over time on meat and increase like start putting it towards soy and being like, we just can't have so many cows now. Increase the price of meat, like do all that shit. Like,
yeah, I mean,
but also put out effective like educational material on how to fucking cook meals, how to cook food, because nobody knows how to cook food because home ec is not taught anymore. Like fucking I learned so many valuable things when I was in home ec, and like it's not really a thing, and a lot of people just don't know how to cook, and cooking is important. That should be like a core fucking class.
Yeah, I got kicked out of that class because I wouldn't behave.
Yeah, well, they should be like you're taking it again next year, boy buddy. Like home ec needs to be like a necessity.
Yeah, it's kind of weird
because
it seems
in
like
high school too. They should have it like it should be.
Yeah, because I was in middle school. It was in middle school when I took home ec, so I was too young to even like really know what the fuck I was doing anyway.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
and it would
a bad age to do that.
It would help people. It would help to teach people how to cook foods that aren't just fucking steaks and hamburgers.
Yeah. That's another thing. When people find out you're vegan, they're like, "What the fuck do you eat?
Yeah.
How do you? What? You just eat fucking lettuce all day? Like that's literally what they fucking think. It's insane.
It's like
no, I cook food. I cook meals. What do you mean?
Like something like 60% of the world lives off of rice, like as their main protein.
Rice, beans, soy. Things that grow out of the ground.
Well, yeah, if you say rice, beans, and soy, that's probably fucking 70% of the world right there. 80%
at
of the
least,
world.
yeah, I'd say like 80. Yeah. Straight up.
And then you throw in corn, that's probably fucking 95%. And then the rest is probably just people who need meat to survive,
And I feel like really the only people who like need meat are people who live in climates where they can't really grow food. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
or like in like, because there are like food deserts and stuff where the only thing you can eat within like a 10-mile radius are going to be like cheap microwavable things from your nearest gas station, like, and that's going to be the only food you have access to. Well, there are just some places in cities where like it's like fucking 30 miles out to the nearest like actual grocery store, and it's called a food desert. So basically, like the only option you have to go to is like a gazebo or to like go to like a gas station, basically.
Yeah, but gas station food doesn't necessarily have to be non-vegan. What I'm saying is
a top-down thing. That wouldn't be an individual thing.
No, but what I'm saying is the only people that I feel like need meat is people who live in a location where they literally can't grow food. So I'm saying if all grocery stores were filled with vegan food, everything was vegan, but those people would still have a difficult time having that unless they had trade set up.
But that doesn't really make sense either, because we're not in a place where you grow food either.
What do you
Our
mean?
food isn't grown here. Our food is grown somewhere else. Like, I don't really see your point. Like, if they can't grow their own food, then that's the time when they need meat. Like, I can't grow my own food.
No, I'm saying as a society, okay, you've got people who live here, you've got people who live there, you've got people who live there. This group of people over here in like Alaska or whatever, by location, cannot physically grow their own food. So they would have to rely on trade in order to be vegan. That's what I'm saying. We here, you don't know how to grow your own food, but you could.
No.
If you knew how.
No.
What do you mean?
I couldn't grow enough food to sustain my family. Even if I knew how and could on my property, I would need like much more space to do that. And I would need much more waters to do that. It would be impractical. That's why we have mass farming and it's subsidized by the government, is because we don't have the capability to all individually farm and produce as much food as we need to live anymore. It's just not a thing.
I don't really know what you're saying. If you replaced the government run farm and had a bunch of little farms, what's the difference?
The government run farm is whole patches of like the country that are just used for farming, and then the food is shipped off to different parts. There's not enough room in this town to feed everybody in the town with the acreage, including schools and houses and roads and everything. That's why we have like whole states that are just like Idaho's fucking the potato state, because there are whole swaths of that state that are just potato farms. You know,
I'm not even saying that everybody should grow their own food. So I'm not.
Well, I'm just saying it's.
What I'm saying is
modernity doesn't allow for us all to grow our own food anyway. And the way to, like, if we were to get rid of the meat industry, it would be like, I think our best bet is going with the replacement meat thing, like that we've been doing, and just fucking eventually move.
Well, yeah.
Just be like, we can't do meat anymore, guys. No more cows and chickens. And then just shut it all down. We all have all these good replacement meats already. We have the Impossible Whopper. We're set. Nobody, people could get mad, but it'll just be like a few people getting mad on the news, and then it'll
be a lot of people actually. A lot of people are very passionate about their fucking steaks and burgers,
but they'll quiet down eventually. And of course, like, the government can't make raising a chicken or a cow illegal, so people could probably just do it on a personal level. But
who's to say they couldn't? If it became a climate issue, having too many cows and chickens around all the time,
right? Maybe they would have.
I could definitely see them doing that.
Do you think that would be right?
What?
Would you be on the government side if they said we have to kill all the cows and chickens?
Kill all of them?
Or
no?
Well,
just stop breeding them.
We have to stop breeding them.
Yeah. You don't have to kill all of them. Just stop breeding them.
Not only that, but if you have chickens, it's illegal.
I mean,
like, just confiscate them and it's not a criminal charge. Because wouldn't people just keep doing it?
Yeah, but see, and this is something I've thought about. Is like on a personal level. I mean, I don't know how you
create a black market. When they create a black market meat trade,
probably. And yeah, I don't see the practicality in enforcing every individual to not be able to eat meat. But at the same time, it's like, to me, it's like, well, we don't let people eat people just because they could maybe get away with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I just don't think
even dogs and cats. We don't allow that.
I don't think we have the time and the resources to keep eating meat. I think we
don't.
We got to cut it out.
We
in the
really
next,
don't.
Like 15, 20 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd say, within the next couple decades, if we don't fix this issue, it will become a big problem.
This is
irreversible.
This is a firm, I don't care whether or not I'm a vegan. This is a firm anti-meat podcast. I only eat meat out of necessity. I feel like most people only eat meat out of necessity, just like the same way people in other countries have diets composed of mostly vegetarian things. I believe America can be that way. And I believe the only people that are keeping us back are the same people that kept us back with racism or kept us back with fucking any other dumb shit, you know? Like,
well, and I think it really is a similar issue as civil rights.
Yeah.
For the animals. I mean, I honestly think if
in an unironic, cringy PETA way.
Like if Martin Luther King sat down with a vegan and heard everything they had to say, he would go vegan instantly. I guarantee it.
Well, I understand. No,
what?
No,
I don't even know where you were.
I was going to try to do an impression, but
I
started doing it. I was like, nah, I can't. I don't know. Poorly impersonating a black civil rights leader on Labor Day. I don't know about that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Never mind.
But yeah, no, but that's something I've thought for like ever since I went vegan. Is like that's one of the big things for me was like thinking about it as a civil rights issue.
Creating a whole bunch of people there. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely a civil rights issue. Yeah. But it's a civil rights issue. It's a climate issue. It's a health issue for people. You know.
Yeah.
Colette. But most of all, it's a time issue. Because we have to move on to the next topic.
Yeah, I guess that was a better segue than usual.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It is a time issue.
Yeah. And speaking of time issues, it's time to get to these issues.
Got some issues.
Yeah.
We do.
So we left the episode right before Bradley was about to go on the craziest screed most of you have ever heard. So buckle up.
Craziest what?
Screed.
Screed?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like a speech / rant.
Okay. Never heard that word. Interesting.
Now you're making me doubt myself, but I'm pretty sure it's a word.
I mean, I don't know a lot of words.
It wouldn't
Just
be
'cause
your
I don't
fault.
know it doesn't mean
No,
it's not a word.
it wouldn't be your fault. I do this whenever I say a word and I think about it first. Yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, a long speech or piece of writing, typically one regarded as tedious. Okay.
I guess that's pretty accurate.
A rant or a speech. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I was just going to go over some of the reasons why I have the ideas that I have.
Okay, I'm going to check. Make sure this is recording. Just double check. Yeah, it's recording.
Because at the end of the day, you can show me some really convincing pictures, and I'll give you that. I was looking at some of those pictures, and
They're
Pretty-
fucking cool, huh?
pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But what, like...
But we got some kinks to work out before you're on my side.
Yeah, well, first of all, I can't take that as absolute proof because to me, that can still be faked. I mean, I think that stuff would have been really hard to do, but first of all, I don't know. How do we know that those pictures, all of them are actually from those missions? Because what I was looking through them and I saw some pictures of the astronauts inside, and then I saw pictures of like out the window, like showing the moon, showing the earth and stuff like that. But, you know, being conspiratorial here, those ones could have been added on later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're looking at stuff on the internet. The internet was not around in the 60s.
Yeah.
So people couldn't check that out back then.
Well,
So
and I don't
know-
think that March to the Moon site had what existed until like the last decade. Like,
Well, see, and that's the thing, because NASA has said that they destroyed all of the original tapes. And so what we have now are like copies of copies.
well, that must not be completely true, but I know what you're referring to. But obviously because the images that I showed you, it's on the original film. So that's the original film for that. But there might have been
Well,
some
see,
stuff that they lost that they, because I remember when they announced that. Maybe we should look up that story
we
before
can
we talk too much
look
about
that
it.
up. But so what are you telling me that we were looking at? Are those photographs of pictures on a reel of film?
Yeah, those are those are digitally scanned images of the film from the old school 60s cameras that they were using. And then the only way that that I would know of how to reference it is that we were looking at photos taken of the same shots that we were looking at for the 60s broadcast that we watched before. You know, that 3/4 moon, that's the one time we've shot that in history. And we were able to watch the low quality version that got recorded and sent to television. And we were also able to look at the high quality pictures that they were taking at the same time. And that's like, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty convincing, unless the argument is that those images were backwards recreated to be the same images that were shown in the 1960s.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is if we're talking about whether or not there's a conspiracy. So if there was, then it would be a very deep conspiracy.
Yeah.
So we can't rule something like that out.
But as far as like some of the things like Dave McKeegan is explained in his videos that I've seen, like when it comes to how he thinks that the images are real, are like, it's very technical, like photographer type things, like the fact that it's in a TIFF file and that's it's like 3 gigabytes in size. Is like that's the file that the camera that the original scan would have been.
So you got this from Dave McKeegan? Is that where you got this website from?
March to the Moon?
Yeah.
I got that from the video of him talking about the blue marble, I think. But I went and looked at the Apollo 11 footage and found the camera that took the same that was hooked up to the same camera that took the video. I'm pretty sure it was a camera that was like, it was like a big thing that had one that could film and send it, but also was taking like real film at the same time. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked.
Well, it looked like the video camera was in a lot of the pictures.
Yeah.
There was like something in the way a lot of the time. It looked like an old camera or something.
So maybe it was like 2 things that they were like both lining up at the same window. I know like that shit was like spinning in the original broadcast. So like it was probably so fucking hard to get those shots, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's definitely something that I've been revisiting because that's stuff I never actually saw. And it is pretty wild looking. But again, we know nowadays that we can do some pretty convincing CGI. So if that shit was like back engineered to match,
but it would have to be like
I don't know. And it
would have to be teams of people who are both expert geographer, like geologists slash like like people who understand. They would have to know so much stuff, and they would have to be so specialized.
Well, and my stance is if there is a conspiracy here, it would have to be very, very deep. There would have to be a whole branch of NASA we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and it would have to be like the most elite graphic designers in history. It wouldn't be anything
pretty much
that's like that exists in the media, you know?
Yeah.
But
but also, I mean, I don't know. Technology is weird because like, so in the 60s, we could go to space, we could land on the moon, but our cameras were still like all shitty. You know what I mean?
Our
like,
cameras were good enough to take perfect pictures, but they were shit at taking videos until we got good at digital videos. So that's why when we can look up photos from the 1800s that are perfect resolution.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And that's the same reason why those photos that I showed you on that film are perfect resolution, because it's film. That's like the proof that it's film, is how high the resolution is for it being a shot from that time. A digital photo like that quality wouldn't have existed until the 2000s. Like it's just such a fucking
to the average person. But what I'm saying is, I mean, I've always found it weird that technology was so advanced in some areas, but so seemingly primitive in other areas. And so as you know, as a conspiracy theorist, I have to wonder, maybe there was technology we don't know about involved with some of this stuff. Yeah. What if Photoshop existed in the 60s and we just didn't know about it until the 90s? That's what I'm saying. You know, like, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. I'm not saying that's what I believe, but that would be a possible explanation for some of these anomalies for the conspiracy theorist side.
Yeah. I think the best explanation for the anomalies is their information gaps. And I think a lot of the information is just out there, but there are charlatans who take advantage of those information gaps or create their own gaps of information, like the last guy we talked about. Like a lot of these things that these flat earth channels like taught you as proofs are just like a lot of them are questions that someone had at one point of time and then answered, and then everything was settled, and then they're bringing up the question again, you know? So it's pretty fucking easy to go like find it, you know?
But, and this is where I think...
Like, it's pretty funny, because I remember back in the day hearing, like, who's it, Pythagoras? Or
Eratosthenes?
Eratosthenes. How did he get the measurements from two different places from so far away at the same time? Well, because historically, it's written down. He had another guy that he hired. It's written down how much he paid him. He had a guy there.
Yeah, but it's still
that he paid for the exact measurements at the exact times.
But it's still
so there's no problem.
There would be no way for them to directly communicate.
Well, he would just tell him what to do, and then that would be the
It's
job.
still not a very good experiment. I think that's the point. People aren't saying that it's impossible. They're just saying it's not a very good experiment.
Well, it's a good experiment because he got the exact circumference.
It's not a good
of the Earth.
experiment because you're working off of the assumption already that the Earth is a sphere, and then you're assuming that sun rays are perfectly parallel.
And
so you're making a couple assumptions that and this is what I find weird. Back then, they were not heliocentrists.
Well,
so
some
why
of them could have been?
No, they were.
Individuals can still have differing thoughts.
Okay, but the general consensus historically, from what we're told, is that the Earth was a sphere, but it was the center of the universe. That's what people believed back then. So I find it weird that they would have thought that the sun was infinitely far away and the rays were perfectly parallel and all of this. I don't know. That seems like a story that doesn't add up just logically. I don't think that's what they would have believed back then.
Well, that's why it's supposed to be this dude is supposed to be a special thinker. Obviously not everybody was considering this back then because this is the one guy who gave a shit.
Yeah, but his belief was not that the Earth was orbiting the sun.
Yeah. Well,
so I just find
his belief
weird.
was that the Earth was round and he was figuring out the circumference, right? And he figured out the circumference.
Well, he assumed, based off of the experiment we're told, he assumed the Earth was a sphere and that the sun rays were perfectly parallel.
Which
that
he
only
can make
makes
that guess.
That makes sense in modern cosmology, though.
Well, no, because he could have the hypothesis that if we're in the center of the universe and I see the sun come from east to west,
why would you assume that the sun
we're
is
a ball and it's going around us?
Why would he assume the sun is 1,000,000 times the size of the Earth?
He doesn't have to assume all that small stuff. He just sees that it's far away.
That is what he's assuming, though.
Well, he just sees that it's far away.
Yeah, but when you look up at the sun, this is actually a perspective issue, but when you look up at the sun, you don't see parallel rays. So it doesn't even make sense that people back then would look up at the sun and assume that the rays were coming in parallel. I don't know. It just, to me, it logically doesn't make sense.
That's not how you spell his name, huh?
No, that's not him there either. Here. It starts with an E. That's probably where.
Oh.
I think.
Tosthenes?
Maybe. Oh, Eratosthenes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a live fact checked of the story. So I also want to state at the top of the episode too, while we're still kind of there, we're kind of already a good chunk into the episode, but the official position of the podcast is that the Earth is a globe and that it is passed by the sun.
No, I disagree with that. You can't say this is our podcast and then make statements like that.
We don't want to get banned off YouTube. The official position of the podcast is that there's nothing wrong going on anywhere and that there's no government ever lying.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. The government doesn't lie. Everything is always exactly what they tell us.
And we are merely entertainment figures who have our own opinions separate from the program.
We're what is it? What did Alex Jones say in court?
Don't quote Alex Jones. Don't quote Alex Jones. Say someone else. You could say
what did
say someone else.
What's a fake name for AJ?
Yeah, well, I don't know what he said. We're media.
What was his defense in court for? Never mind. The joke doesn't even matter. It's not even funny anymore. Let's just move on.
He's an actor, right?
It was an
actor. He's playing I don't know.
Street performer. I think that's what he said. That's
funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so the guy was a polymath, a mathematician, a geographer, a poet, an astronomer, and a music theorist. So he sounds pretty based already. I'm just going to tell you that.
He sounds pretty base already.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a music theorist. We probably have more in common with him than you think.
yeah, no, I mean, and to be clear, this is a position that I think I differ from a lot of flat earthers and conspiracy theorists in general on. Is I don't think a lot of these guys were like
Part of the New World Order.
yeah, I think they I think they were scientists who were wrong. I mean, that happens all the time. I think there are certain things we observe in reality that make things seem very rounded. I mean, you know, we see in like a dome. That's kind of how we see. Everything curves to the center of our vision. So if something is moving overhead, it looks like it's curving over you. So somebody back then would assume, oh, okay, so it's actually going down.
Yeah, so that's a good argument for why he would assume the Earth is round, right?
I didn't say he wouldn't assume the Earth was round. I said he wouldn't. I don't think he would think it was a heliocentric sphere
did he?
orbiting the sun.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see if he did.
Let's see.
Let's learn a little bit about the son of Aglios. Eratosthenes was born in 276 BC in I don't know if you pronounce it Cyrene or Kyrene, but modern day Libya. And it was founded by the Greeks centuries earlier, and it was the capital of Pentapolis, which was North Africa, a country of 5 cities. Okay. He went to Athens to further his studies. He learned Stoicism. Then he studied under Aristo of Chios, who was cynical. And then he went to the Plato's Academy. And then this guy, skepticism. Damn, this motherfucker ran the gauntlet of Greek theorists. The founder of academic skepticism. That's based, right? Okay, so
Based.
he investigated the art of poetry under Callimachus. It's gonna be a poet and scholar, and he wrote poems and hexameters. Shit, that's in 6s. He wrote chronographies. Oh, that's kind of cool, like a history book. Beginning with the Trojan War. 38. I wonder if that's how they got the King's List, or if that's just a King's List. It's an Egyptian King's List. That's cool. Okay, we're trying to...
Yeah, we don't need to read his entire... Because it looked like there's a lot
Yeah.
to read.
We did
here.
a lot of shit. Okay. So the measurement of Earth's circumference is the most famous among the results obtained by Eratosthenes, who estimated that the meridian has a length of 252,000 stadia, which is 25,000 miles, with an error on the real value between -2%, and +8%. And then a lot of math. So we're just trying to find out. Wait. Okay. The simplified method works by considering 2 cities along the same meridian and measuring both the distance between them and the difference in angles of the shadows cast by the sun on a vertical rod at each city at noon on the summer solstice. So it's supposed to be a part of a turn. And then he just multiplied that. But you're trying to figure out why he knew that the sun was parallel. But like,
I don't understand why he would assume that. To me, that seems like a story that would have...
well, what does that mean? What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does that mean?
What does that mean, what you're saying?
So
Like,
who...
if
Okay,
at noon
somebody...
the sun is right above you, can't you be like, looks parallel to me, right?
No, that's not what you see when you look up at the sun and you see sun rays coming through the clouds. They don't look parallel at all. That's the only time you can see sun rays is when they're shining through something like clouds, and they never look parallel. They always diverge.
Well, that's
And
probably like...
I understand that.
perspective.
No, I did. I already said that's a perspective issue. And but to somebody back then, looking up at the sun and seeing that, they would not. There's no reason for them to assume that the sun
dude's a fucking
was
genius. You think a genius looking at the sky might not assume something like that?
Yeah, because they still lived in a time with a certain idea of how things worked.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Part of the school of
if you thought the Earth was the center of
dog.
the universe, why would you think? Why would you look at this light in the sky and be like, okay, well, that's obviously way bigger than what I'm standing on? It makes no sense. What is not the assumption you would make?
But it doesn't presuppose that. He just sees parallel sun rays.
The entire experiment presupposes that for the sun rays to be parallel, that means that the sun must be way larger than the Earth, which means that it doesn't even make sense that they would think that. Then why would they think that the Earth is the center of the universe? But why would they look at the sun, which looks like a little light in the sky, and think that that's a million times the size of the Earth? It makes no sense.
Well, he's measuring the distance of the Earth by taking the angle that the
what I want to know.
turns.
What I want to know is what was his cosmology? What did he believe cosmologically? That's what I want to know.
Let's look this
Not
up.
not about the shape of the Earth. I know he thought it was a sphere. I want to know what the cosmology was, the actual setup of the universe, because it wasn't heliocentrism. That wasn't until 1,000 years later. That's my point. I mean, maybe somebody thought of it, but not Eratosthenes, not that I know of.
I just don't know what's the difference between thinking that the sun is like you're going around the sun or the sun's going around you when you're measuring the distance around the circumference.
What I'm saying is
of the planet.
experiment makes assumptions that I don't understand why he would be making.
Well,
so to me,
can you
it doesn't.
point on this where there's an assumption made other than like the parallel sun rays. I don't know what
that.
But he's measuring it. He obviously can tell it's parallel.
How did he know that the Earth was a sphere before doing this experiment? How would he know that? He assumed it.
Well, maybe
based off
they
of
already
other
thought it was a
observations.
sphere.
Yeah, so that's an assumption. They didn't prove it. They didn't know that for sure. They didn't have spaceships and look down at it. So how would they? That was an assumption.
I mean, that doesn't.
And then how would they know that the sun rays were parallel? That's also an assumption.
Because
So that's two assumptions. I don't know why you're saying there's no assumption.
He's like a mathematician. I don't know what assumption you're like.
Because he's a mathematician doesn't mean he can't make assumptions.
No, but I'm wondering, like,
those are the assumptions.
Yeah, but I don't know exactly what you're like caught up on. I'm confused by what you're saying.
I'm saying that the whole story doesn't make sense to me. Is this a real person? What I've heard is that he hasn't been referenced by any other historian. I know you're good with history. I'm not. So I want to know. We don't need to look this up now because that's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It's going to take the whole podcast. If you want, that can be like your homework assignment. And like, I've never seen.
I'm working on something for 9/11, but we could also.
We can revisit it or whatever. But that's what I'm stuck on. Is, to me, it seems like it makes sense if it was a story that was created afterwards. Like, okay, well, we need a guy who measured the circumference of the Earth. And then they think of this story, but it's based off of our modern cosmology. The story obviously implies our modern cosmology, but that they didn't believe in back then. That's what
I'm not sure where I see anything like that on the Wikipedia.
Well, okay, so we need to know his cosmological views. That's what I'm saying. Because to my knowledge, he was not a heliocentrist. So it doesn't make sense to me. The assumptions that he made. That's what I'm saying. It makes sense for a heliocentrist to make those assumptions, not a geocentrist.
Well, there's a dude referring to him right there. In the Preparatorio Evangelica includes a brief chapter of 3 sentences on celestial distances. He states simply that Eratosthenes found the distance to the sun to be of stadia myriads 480,000, and the distance to the moon to be 780,000 stadia. The expression for the distance of the sun had been expressed either as 4 million stadia, 1903 translation, or as 804 million stadia. The meaning depends on whether he meant. So this is a guy who's just either. I don't know if he was. I don't know what it is in stadia. I'm a little We're looking at the
That's
circumference.
yeah, I remember hearing what that is. It was like their basic measurement back then.
Yeah,
I don't
but
remember
see,
what
that's
it
one.
translates to.
That's one guy quoting him before, without like any prompting. I mean,
I guess we would have to fact check this. You know, I'm not saying that's true. That's just something I've heard.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
story
and that's what
never
I'm
made
saying.
sense to me. So
a lot of the people who have presented you these stories presented it dishonestly. So we're trying to break through that and figure out like the real version. But yeah, I'm glad you're asking questions because we can we can chip at this a little bit. I mean, I'm not. I remember they tried to teach us a lot of this like math history in school, but it's like the most boring history. I guarantee this is why people stopped being interested in history, is because they were focusing too much on Greece. Because it's like, and this scientist trained from this guy who trained from this guy, and we have little scraps of their books, and here, read the Odyssey, kids, and that's history class.
for me, history was just boring in general because I guess my ADHD is just hard to listen to. An hour and a half of stories about this dude and at this date and this location doing this thing, and like
I had a lot going on.
and nobody in history was ever like a good person, so I never like admired any of them. I always hated everybody I was learning about. So
I remember one of the first things one of my first history classes was in like third or fourth grade, maybe fourth grade. And it was like about the Indian caste system. And it was like, I was like, history is like awful. Like, not like learning history is awful, but the past is awful, you know? Because it was like, it was talking about like ancient caste systems. And I was all like, ugh. I'm sure it was probably a little bit supposed to be like propaganda-ish, like, oh, India has a caste system and America doesn't, you know, because that's when I learned that was in that class. I guess it's a little weird for a history class.
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked history, and I don't remember a lot of it, like learning a lot of it in school.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was more into science. That was my shit.
Yeah.
I loved science and astronomy.
What kind of cell has cell walls?
What kind of cell has cell walls?
Mm-hmm.
Is that plant cells?
Yeah, ding ding ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. See, Bradley did pay attention to science.
I mean, not all the time, but I do remember that. Almost. I questioned it, but yeah, I do remember that. I remember one of them did and didn't, and
because animal cells have cell membranes.
Ah, okay. Yeah. See, when it came to like cells and stuff, I didn't do too well at that stuff. Mitochondria.
It's funny because we're in the
shit.
same class.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not do well with that stuff. I was really good with astronomy and stuff, which is funny. I don't think people will believe me when I say it now, but I actually was. That was my shit.
Yeah. Well, I think you get a lot better at it once you figure out that the Earth isn't flat. I think you'll be.
I think the most learning I've ever done was in rechecking the things I was taught in school.
Yeah,
I know way more about this stuff than the average person. You're going to learn
like 3 times as much now because you're going to have to triple check everything.
We'll see. We'll see. This is what this is about, is learning.
Yeah. So the notion that the Earth revolves around the sun had been proposed as early as the 3rd century by Aristarchus and some other dude named Philolaus of Croton. And then some other guy named Philolaus and Hicetus. And then, these guys thought that the Earth was revolving around a mystical central fire.
Well, sounds like you got to what we're looking for. What's going on? What'd you find?
So I Googled if Eratosthenes was heliocentric, and I'm looking it up now. And it mentions him in this, but we're just looking we're trying to look for Eratosthenes here. Okay. So this Earth being a sphere was recognized in Greco-Roman astronomy from the 4th century. So Eratosthenes.
But that's not.
I know. I just want to be clear with the audience.
Okay.
from the 4th century BC, right? Yeah.
So it said.
So the 200 years, 125 years before this guy was born, everybody knew the Earth was round, at least a globe. At least that was the common belief among academics at the time, is that the Earth was round. The sphericity, it was spherical. It was a better way of saying it.
I still don't know about that. I think maybe they believed it, but I don't know if that was a common consensus because there were no physical globes.
We're talking about Greco-Roman astronomy. So we could look up Greco-Roman astronomy if you want to dive deeper into that or stay at this level.
Yeah, I don't want to keep getting deeper and deeper into the layers because we're not going to make it to everything on the list again if we do that.
We're making good time though. We're only an hour in.
I want to get past all of this stuff so we can have the proper podcast for next week.
Yeah. Okay. So Papa-tau. So all we got to figure out is this part about Eratosthenes. So Pythagoras, let's talk about him right now. He was the first non-geocentric universe, was a Pythagorean philosopher who was like, hey, maybe we go around a central fire that everybody goes around. And he postulated that there was a counter-Earth collinear with the Earth and central fire, with the same period of revolution around the central fire as the Earth. What does that mean? A counter-Earth collinear, like a thing that's like a.
I guess.
Okay, a thing that's making us swivel around as opposed to us just independently swinging around, probably. And the sun revolved around the central fire once a year, and the stars were stationary, and Earth maintained the same hidden face towards the central fire, rendering both it and the counter-Earth invisible from Earth.
Wait, what does that mean? The Earth maintained the same hidden face towards the central fire.
So it's like this dude thought that that's how this Earth worked, like the moon works around the Earth. He was like, okay, so then the Earth must. But that wouldn't be right. That can't be what he thought because days wouldn't work that way.
Yeah, that's why I'm very confused. None of this is making sense to me.
But it's still saying that basically this second part is saying that the counter Earth was invisible because it's on the other side of the sun. So the Pythagorean theorem of uniform circular motion. So they thought everything just kind of worked on spindles going around the central fire. They called the sun a central fire. It wasn't like
no, it's saying that it was separate from the sun.
No, they're saying the sun is the central fire.
No, it says the center of the universe was a central fire around which the Earth, sun, moon, and planets revolved.
Okay, I misunderstood it. Sorry.
It's saying that there's a fire that we don't see in the center, and the sun and
everything is going around it. Okay.
What the fuck?
So, that is
this is the craziest cosmology I've ever fucking heard. This makes no sense.
But it is the first non-geocentric model. This is the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah, that would be non-geocentric, but it's not heliocentric either.
No, that's just trying to give us a little bit of
that is so weird.
But that's probably what they like, how they could be like, yeah, it's the same face, but the face is like it's turning in a way that's making it like all crazy instead of the Earth rotates. See, this guy Heraclides was like the Earth rotates. So he was the first guy who was like that. And then Aristarchus of Samos. He calculated the size of the Earth too and measured the sizes and distances of the sun and moon. And he estimated he concluded that the sun was 6 to 7 times wider than the Earth and thought the larger object would have the most attractive force. And also Eratosthenes, when I was reading his thing, he was also wrong about the size of the Earth too. He thought it was like 27 times larger than the Earth when it's actually like 109 times larger. Yeah, so they didn't think that it was like the exact same system.
But they teach now that I always hear that he got it perfect. Like that's usually what people say. Like
they would be misunderstanding it because the official stuff says that he was.
Well, I'm not saying that it doesn't say that. I'm just saying, like, people, this is another problem with this stuff, because people create their own version of these stories in their heads and then spread that around, and teachers spread it around. And next thing you know, like, everybody believes something that's complete bullshit. It's even according to the actual
it's
science.
The failure of the education system. It's the deterioration of education in this country. You know, like, I think people really just fucking were not properly taught shit.
I remember being told things that were straight up
obviously
wrong
not true
by teachers. And also just given really bad explanations. Like, I remember teachers saying that the reason we can't feel the earth spinning is because it spins very slowly. No, not at all.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's not true in any way. But that's a whole other topic.
It's so funny because, like, knowing, like, as an adult, you're like, oh yeah, that any other teacher, if they would have heard that, at least, like, they would have been like, the fuck?
Or when they always use as explanation for gravity. And I remember this in first grade. I remember the teacher doing this demonstration where you put something like a bucket, like some water in a bucket, and you swing it, and the water doesn't leak. That's the opposite of gravity. That is the exact opposite force. That's not at all a demonstration.
That's not a demonstration of gravity. That's a demonstration of that's like velocity. Like,
that's centrifugal force. Yeah. It's so it's fucking like teachers teach straight up bullshit, and they've been teaching that to kids for like decades. Like, I've read accounts from decades ago of people saying that they learned that in school.
That would be a failure of the educational system.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. But that's the point I'm making right now, is that that's another problem, is that people teach bullshit that isn't even true according to the actual official science.
Yeah.
And teachers teach bullshit, and then, like, it muddies the waters on what is even actually supposed to be true.
Well, and I'm sure some teachers, like, who wanted to be science teachers, probably just, like, I mean, they got by on the smallest degree they could, and they became a science teacher, and they have answers that their teachers gave them when they were kids, you know, instead of answers that they actually learned at the school. You know, they have to pull back that far because maybe they didn't learn everything they needed to. A lot of them are probably guessing too, but the ones that are saying the same things are probably a lot of the time that. But honestly, curriculums are fucking weird. Curriculums are different per city. Like, when I lived in Alamosa, it was completely different. I think it's county. But when I lived in Alamosa, it was a completely different curriculum than Canyon City. It was fucking insane. Like, everything was, there was like a coding class in school, you know? Like, all of the classes were like on completely different subjects than like anything I was like near. But I remember, like, in that class, I was taught explicitly that the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery; it was fought over states' rights.
Yeah,
which that's an explicit, like, that's like that's a conservative area talking point argument.
Not even just conservative.
Like, it's because also it was the conservatives, not the conservative, but the Confederates' reason for. Help me, it's Lexapro. For being in the Civil War without like it was like their media whitewash explanation for why they were like in the Civil War, but meaning slavery without explicitly saying it, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, funny thing about that point about like curriculums being different is like, so we say that everybody believed the earth was round since the Greeks, but there's actual like historical proof of schools in America teaching flat earth in the 1900s.
Yeah. But that would be the case of like,
I'm not saying that was the majority,
but like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it isn't as one-sided as everybody thinks it is.
And I think it's a really dumb statement to say everybody has known that the earth is round, because
that's what everybody says, though.
Then you don't understand history, because not everybody can read right now. In most of history, most people couldn't read. Yeah. Most people thought whatever the fuck their culture thought, and it was mostly like ghosts and trees, you know? Like, it wasn't It wasn't any type of science. And I'm sure like a bunch of Catholic nuns, they were probably teaching, and they were like some of the first schools in America were Catholic nuns. So it doesn't specify. It talks about the, I don't know if Eratosthenes cared. He probably thought that it was the center of the galaxy.
So, well, they didn't know.
No, he
galaxies.
said he went to the Pythagorean school, so maybe he thought it was like the whole spindle deal. But we have to move on.
Yeah, we definitely have to move on.
Yeah.
So maybe I was wrong about maybe those assumptions. Maybe he made those assumptions. I don't know. That always seemed a little weird to me. We had talked about all this last week.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we can do this thing. I'm not used to having a touchscreen.
Yeah.
So there's some observations I haven't really seen any good answers for that I wanted to go over. I don't expect us to come to like an actual conclusion on anything here, but this is just me sharing my perspective on things, you know. So this is the longest bridge in the world. Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge in China.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked all this math. It checks out. We can double check it if you want, but I did it before even adding this to the list. Yeah, the bridge is 102.4 miles long, which, using the equation for the curvature of the Earth, which some people like to say isn't the actual equation because it doesn't make a full circle, doesn't matter. We're using short distance here. It's a parabola, but it works over 1/4 of the way, which anything past that doesn't even matter. It's dipping under you after that. You can't measure that. It's stupid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we're using this equation for short distances here. This is relatively short distance for the Earth, right? 102.4 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the actual equation for what the curvature would be. So there should be 6,990.5 feet of curvature here.
Yeah.
So
there should be.
There should be, and I mean,
well, let's find a curvature calculator.
Yeah, I mean we can do that, but so I mean. A fucking. You don't see that here, and you could say it's too small to see, but no, that's 7,000 feet. Put a fucking 7,000 foot tower in the middle of this picture and tell me you wouldn't be able to see it. Bullshit. You know what I mean? 7,000 feet. That's fucking huge.
Well, because it's curving like this. It would be like this. Would be like viewing it from above. You wouldn't be able to tell. Like
you should be able to tell 7,000 feet. The bridge should not look that straight. You should be able to see it curving.
But the bridge would be straight.
No, it wouldn't be. Why would it be straight if it's going over 7,000? It's like going over a hill of water, 7,000 feet high.
Yeah, but like if you think about like a airplane landing strip, like it's gonna curve, right?
I don't believe that. Why would it?
Well, okay.
No, not even on a sphere it wouldn't.
A straight road.
They level it out.
Well, what I'm saying is the bridge isn't gonna. It's not going up. It's going along the surface of the water. It doesn't.
So it's going over curved water. You can't level out the water and then build a bridge over level water. The water's going to curve with gravity.
Well, yeah. So the bridge is curved, but from this perspective, it's going to be flat because the water's flat.
You just said the water's flat.
Yeah, from this perspective, the water's flat. So the bridge
shouldn't be. That's the point. You should 7,000 feet. You should be able to notice that. Look at the bridge. It's completely straight. I mean, it turns over here, but you can tell it's not curving over 7,000 feet of water.
Well, I mean, the water looks pretty flat too.
Yeah, that's the point.
I mean,
it shouldn't. According to this math, it should not. You should be able to notice.
Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. I believe if you have a straight bridge that long, looking at it from this perspective, you should be able to see it curving.
Okay, so the two claims here is we can't see the curve on the Grand Bridge, and that that's it. That's the claim.
That's my
We're
claim
supposed to-
here. Is that
Okay.
where's the curve on this bridge? That's what I'm saying.
Let's learn about the Dongyan Kushan Grand Bridge. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. More than 100 miles in length. It's not the world's longest sea crossing bridge anymore.
Really?
Not anymore.
Did they recently build a bigger
Yeah,
one?
it says that there's a
Because this information is a little dated now. Like, but
the Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge is still a world beater, so I guess that's always been the biggest one.
well, what is biggest?
Longest, probably. It says the world's longest sea crossing bridge. So that one would be longer. This other one.
No, it says it may have lost its title as the world's longest sea crossing bridge to the recently built Hong Kong. Yeah, so this was, and then recently they built this one. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So at the time that image was created, that bridge hadn't been built yet.
Yeah. And then it just like contradicts itself immediately.
Literally, yeah. Longest bridge over water. This makes this whole article like, okay, can we even trust what it's saying?
Well, they're engineers, they're not writers. Oh. You can imagine the curvature of the bridge. The journey of the bridge takes in canals, rivers, lowland rice paddies. It is difficult to understand how engineers were able to do that.
So they're basically saying, pretty cool that they were able to build this. Who knows how they did it?
The largest bridge in the world.
Longest bridge in the world, and it listed in the Guinness Book of Records. The length of this bridge is almost 165 kilometers, but only 9 kilometers of roads over water. Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge is located in eastern China, between the cities of Nanjing and Shanghai. Its build was started in 2008. The scope of work was enormous,
great. Yeah, it
Can you
but in the
imagine
summer of
driving on
2011,
something like
the bridge
From
was
this
put
perspective,
into
it just
operation. More than
disappears.
10,000
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
was
Fucking
building
insane,
this
dude.
bridge, and the construction was carried out simultaneously on both sides. All work spent a huge amount of building materials, namely 2.5 million cubic meters of concrete, as well as 500,000 tons of steel.
Can you imagine
The construction
being
of the
someone who has
longest
to
bridge in the
copy all
world
that?
took the government of
That would be-
China
it would be like
a
such
tidy
a
sum of $10
weird
billion.
sight and
It is
also
quite
such a
possible
long
that in near
drive.
future,
just drive
the
off
longer
right
bridge
there.
will
You
be
see
built
that
in
shit?
China,
It's
which
just
will
like a
connect the
thin
city
rail.
of
It looks
Zhuhai
like in
and
Grand
Hong
Theft
Kong.
Auto, and there's that side missing, and then there's just some construction cones, and you can just drive off the edge of the bridge. Like, why is that there?
We didn't talk about the curvature.
Yeah, and see, that's my thing. Is like anytime I try to look at something like this, I never find a definitive answer on that. That's why I brought it up. Is because
Ooh, this might be a good answer from Quora. Sometimes Quora has bad answers, sometimes Quora has good answers.
I've seen some pretty good answers on that.
It just has to be an answer from the right person. Okay, so the question, let's see if this is relevant. How was it engineered to curve with the Earth? Cool. Shut up, GPT. I want the answer from this guy, the real person, you fucking asshole. Okay. On small bridges or bridges with small spans between the columns, the curvature of the earth does not affect the sizes of the structure that much. You build a column vertically, and the distance from column to column would not vary much between top and bottom. We were talking about a couple of millimeters. However, with big bridges, the curvature of the earth is taken into account. These towers are not parallel to each other. They are 41 millimeters apart at the bottom than they are at the top.
See, I don't know how we can fact check that.
Yeah.
This is my problem.
That's why
with this,
Quora sucks sometimes, though.
how convenient if it isn't an issue. Because what I'm saying is we should be able to observe. I think we should be able to see it. Like looking at the bridge from that height, I think we should be able to see it.
No, it's a matter of the picture. Like it purely depends. We have to look at the engineering and like why. Like
I'm just talking based off of the math. Like we should like looking at that bridge from that height. It should not look straight.
The lens could completely make it to where it looks all flat. It doesn't matter. Like it's one picture doesn't prove jack.
I'm not saying one picture. That's just the best picture that I could find from the best perspective showing the entire bridge. It's really hard to get a good picture of this bridge because it's so fucking big. Yeah, that's exactly the problem.
But from those videos, it looks like it fades out into space.
It just goes off into the distance. It doesn't.
And from that other picture, it looked flat until it went off one way. But that's because
I mean the bridge turned, but the actual it looked. I mean, the overall.
But I think the angle could be misleading with that, and obviously, like this is a big flat earther thing for a reason because.
Yeah, because nobody can give a definitive answer on it.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of definitive answers. Like
well, I mean, let's find it then.
Yeah.
If there is, then I want to see it. That's my point. I'm not going to reject an answer if there is one. I just haven't seen it.
Let's look at this effect of Earth's curvature on some suspension bridges. So, whose design took into account that the bridge towers are 1 5/8 inch further apart at the top than at the bottom. Stanford Linear Accelerator and Fermi-Lamb's neutrino communication experiments. Yeah, they would have to take into account. So let's look up. I don't even know how to look at that up exactly. I'm going to keep.
See, some of this stuff, like, I don't want to spend too much time on them so we can, like, revisit, you know?
Yeah, can you just keep talking while I'm trying to find at least a little bit more on this. Just try to fill up the dead air.
See, I just want, I guess this is what I want. I want not only an answer for, like, how it was built and how they accounted for it, but also why don't, like, I guess I just don't understand why when we look at the bridge it looks so straight from above when it
well it's like probably because
it should be like I said, like there should be a 7,000 foot drop. Like that is huge. It doesn't matter like the distance you're looking at that from. That's like saying that a 7,000 foot tower in that picture would be invisible from that height. Bullshit. Bullshit. You would be able to see it. And I think the same is for like a hill, a 7,000 foot hill, you'd be able to see it. And that's basically what we're talking about, is a 7,000 foot hill.
Well,
see, I just want, I guess those are my problems with that. Oh shit, I think I double hit that. The wrap is like kind of coming undone too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Man. And we also have to wade through like a bunch of flat earth sources too.
Well, I mean, I think it's good to look at answers from both sides and see who's making more sense.
Well, we have to
who actually has
have to find an actual engineer and not a fucking a flat earth society thing, because they're going to be. No, I don't mean literally the flat earth society.
But that's a straw man though. To even mention that.
I don't specifically. I'm saying right now, I don't specifically mean the flat earth. I mean a flat earth society, not the flat earth society.
Okay, I misunderstood what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just people saying engineers do have to account for it with large things. But there's a...
It's a pretty vague answer, but I mean... And I don't really know how we could even check on that anyway. So I guess...
Because, I mean, the engineers aren't out here, like, arguing that they have to do this. It's just part of their jobs, you know? That's why we're not finding something like this, but...
Yeah.
I want to.
That's the thing. A lot of the time when you do talk to engineers about this kind of stuff, they're just like, huh. Never really had to think about it.
Yeah, because you usually don't.
It's the
For-
same thing with pilots. Like when you
Yeah.
ask a pilot, like, "Hey, do you have to like dip down?" They're like, "Nah." I mean, I never really thought about that. We just fly straight. Like,
Yeah.
So
Well,
I mean,
that's
it's so weird that people never have to think about it
Yeah.
in any fucking field ever. Nobody ever has to think about it.
Well, for certain things, yeah. It depends on the thing.
I mean,
Like a pilot obviously doesn't have to care too much about that, but
why
the same
is that
way-
obvious?
the same way that I mean, because if you have a gyroscope and you're staying level, you're
If we did
always
this
going to be
one-
level if you're going forward, you know?
But that's a whole other thing. We can talk about gyroscopes, but that's a. The way a gyroscope works is you set its spin and then it keeps its rigidity in space. It doesn't matter what surface it's sitting on. So the fact that it planes stay level based off of gyroscopes
No.
also does not add up.
They just stay lined up, right?
Yeah,
As far as I know.
they line it up with the Earth, and that keeps them level when they fly.
No, well, it would be. It wouldn't be a gyroscope's
It
placement
is a
in
gyroscope.
Space. It would be a gyroscope's placement in relativity with the gravity of the Earth.
No. We
It
can
would be,
fact
like,
check
down
that.
this
That's
thing.
how gyroscopes work, is rigidity in space. It has nothing to do with the gravity.
So
of the
you're
Earth.
saying if you go to
If you take it, this is actually supposed to be one of the proofs that the Earth is spinning. Is people claim that if you set a gyroscope, it will slowly precess, and they claim that's because of the spinning of the Earth. So you can't now say that has
well,
nothing.
I just don't know about gyroscopes. I'm not now saying that.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is like that. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like if we're talking about the explanation in general, like your explanation isn't adding up with what other people are saying proves that the Earth
Well,
is spinning.
yeah, I mean, I just
Because that's how gyroscopes are supposed to work, is rigidity in space. But when we use it on fucking airplanes,
Maybe, I mean, maybe planes don't use gyroscopes.
they do.
Maybe, well,
that's something I've actually checked, and I mean,
Oh.
there's so many rabbit holes we can dive down.
I know, but
it's,
like,
we don't
it's
have enough
like
time for that.
The problem with all of these things is
you can claim any random thing and have to sift through like piles of information to disprove a claim like this. You know, like
Yeah,
that's what makes this really.
that's what makes it
difficult.
a pretty nuanced topic.
But I mean,
Like, it's not.
like I'm not surprised that people do have to account for the curve of this, but it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't seem like as big of a deal as like.
Should be a pretty big deal.
I mean,
I think
But if it
mathematically,
if the water looks flat in this photo, then that means the bridge is going to
because
look
the water's flat.
you know?
That's why it looks flat, because it's not curving 7,000 feet down. If it was, you would see it curving 7,000 feet. We're talking 7,000. The
Yeah,
bridge. Okay, the bridge is 102.4 miles, right? So that's 10,000 feet long. Oh wait, is that? No, never mind. That's not. Okay, we need to find out how many miles,
Well, and what is
how many
this?
feet.
It's like an
No, I was looking
iPhone picture. What?
Huh?
What? Where? What? Like,
Okay, what-
is this elevation even right or anything?
It's
Like,
talking about the bridge going across the ground. It doesn't matter. The elevation doesn't matter. But okay, I want to, because how many feet is that? Because if we compare that, that's the stretch of the bridge. That's 102.4 miles. So 7,000 feet is,
is
gonna be a
that the whole
fraction
stretch
that
of the
bridge.
bridge?
I mean, you can see land here, and you can see it.
I mean, we don't know if that's the whole stretch of the bridge at all. We're just trusting the word of this image.
I
Like,
mean, we can look at other pictures. Let's look at other pictures of it then.
okay.
Maybe that's not the whole stretch of the bridge. In fact, probably not. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that. But I'm just saying, if we can figure out how much of the bridge we can see across in a picture and then take the amount of feet it is in length, we can visually figure out how much drop we should be able to see in the picture. Like we could like mathematically figure that out.
Yeah, if I go back here, it's this one. Images. Yeah, see, that picture is only taking a segment of it because it turns right here and then it
Yeah.
goes like that and then it goes like this.
Yeah, so I guess it must go over a couple of like
100
islands or
yeah,
something.
102 miles must mean its whole length, you know.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but I guess I wrongfully thought that picture was showing the whole length. But now that I think about it, yeah, probably not, because 102.4 miles is a very long length. But either way, do we have a fucking...
I'm looking for a satellite image of
That's
it.
what I'm saying. I want to see a picture of the whole fucking bridge then. Because if we can...
I mean, that's a lot of it. It's not the whole thing, obviously, but it shows before that curve. This is what that picture's... Here, I'll take the mouse over here. This is what that picture was taking. Just this one little straight part.
No, because it showed land. It showed it leading to land.
Probably over here.
It was
That's this
leading land.
right here. But this is that same structure.
It probably looks similar, but I don't think that's the same part. Yeah, it's not the same part.
Danyang. Kushan from satellite. Come on, baby. Kunshan.
That looks like is that supposed to? No.
Google sightseeing. Virtual globe trotting. A lot of these images suck.
Yeah, it's
all these images
probably hard to
suck.
get a good picture. But yeah, it'd be nice if there was a satellite image of the entire thing. That would. Then I guess it would be hard to see any curvature from like looking straight down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What I wanted to figure out is if we could see the whole bridge and then be like, okay, how long is this bridge in feet? And then take that the 7,000 feet chunk out of it. That would be visually how much curvature we should be able to see in the picture then.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like we can find a full picture of the bridge. So
Maybe there's a better source in here. Fucking. Is 102 miles too small to see from space? Maybe that's why there's no satellite images of it.
I
I
don't know.
don't know what to tell you other than that image seems like it's taken out of context.
What do you mean? It's
I don't
taken
even know if it's like a real image, but obviously it doesn't show the rest of the highway. It doesn't show it bending. Should there be curvature?
Well, I
over
mean,
that?
what we might be seeing is all right. Actually, I think that is all those closer images is showing this part. Now that I think about it, that land right there in the distance, and then there's that it curving to the right. So I think the closer up images we were seeing is just this section right here.
Well, I don't see other roads coming off of it. I think that's this way. I think that's right before this. It curves, and then there's all those other roads that come onto it. And I think that's the same part that
Or
we.
it might be right there, and it's just hard to see because it's a sharp angle. Because I mean, it kind of just blurs, but it looks like there's a little.
Yeah, it looks like there's something right there.
There is something.
But yeah,
there.
it's exactly like.
But it's not just okay. This image proves there's no curvature. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. To me, I think you should be able to see it, and if the engineers don't have to worry about that when they build stuff like this.
Well, these ones probably did because it's this
You
big.
say probably, but
But
I don't know how I could even, and I don't know how I could even check that. I mean, I guess for that, I would just have to have a conversation with an actual engineer.
With a Chinese engineer who worked on the fucking.
I guess that would be the only way to know a definitive answer
and
on
that's
that.
why it's a flat Earth talking point. That's why they use it as a talking point, because the only way to figure it out is to talk to a fucking Chinese engineer.
I like I mean, to me, just visually, I'm like,
you can tell it's a fucking tiny part of the bridge. There's no way to
you
tell.
say tiny part of the bridge. I don't think it's a tiny part of the bridge because
it's
102.4 miles. Because of the next picture I'm going to show you, which this is 60 miles. So compared to that, this is probably most of the bridge. And we'll move on to the next picture. This picture is taken from 60 miles away. So this is probably most of that bridge. We're maybe missing a tiny portion.
No, because the bridge is smaller than skyscrapers and shit. The bridge is going to be a lot.
Okay, but this image is if we're looking at skyscrapers at the end. If you saw skyscrapers over here, you're not going to really be able to see them that well.
But I'm talking about right here. If these buildings are 60 miles away, right?
Yeah.
Then this would have to be 60 miles away, not that. And this being a road, it would be super thin if it was the same 60 miles away. We saw those roads; they were they were like 4-lane freeways.
Yeah.
So compared to a skyscraper, that would be like that skyscraper's thin line in the distance. I think this image was probably taken from like maybe a few hundred feet in the sky. Maybe a 1,000 feet in the sky. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is like helicopter height.
Yeah.
So,
but you can't even get like, how much can you see from a helicopter? Like how far, like how
this
much
picture is taken from ground level.
Well, yeah, but I mean like looking down from a helicopter. This is taken at an angle looking down. If you were looking level at it, and it would be as thin as those buildings. So it can't be that distant. It's like not even an equivalent. This is well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, what is, if you were looking at,
okay, you said we were looking at a tiny portion of the bridge.
Yeah.
I was saying, no, based off of this image, that can't be true because this is 60 miles away. I don't think that this is a tiny portion. This is probably most of that length of 102. I think we're missing part of it, but not all of it. I mean, not like half of it or something.
I think at most we would be seeing like half of it, because like if this is supposed to be like the buildings and we're coming at it from an angle like this, I mean, obviously a lot of it's out of like frame in the front and a lot of it's out of frame in the back, but like, I mean, it would be a shorter distance that we're looking at then. So this would have to be less than 50 miles because we're not looking straight forward, we're looking down.
The higher you are, the farther you can see. I don't know what you mean by that.
Not if you're looking down, if you're looking this way, but not if you're looking down.
But you can see the horizon in the picture. So you can still, the higher up you go, the further you can see on the horizon. The farther away the horizon is, the higher up you go. So that doesn't matter. You can see the horizon in the picture. So that's actually, the horizon is much further in this picture than it would be in this picture, because this is taken from ground level over water, which is going to distort your view. But this...
Okay, so what does this mean?
I'm just saying, you said this is a tiny portion of the bridge and that's why we can't see the curve. I'm saying that can't be true because of this image, which shows this is 60 miles. This, just based off of the perspective, like that can't be just a tiny portion of the bridge.
No, I think we could probably just look. I mean, we could. I don't know what you're trying to say. Okay,
but either way, we can move on because we're gonna run out of time and we need to get this over with.
Yeah.
Okay, and we don't need to.
I am left confused by your point there, so I will.
I was just refuting your point that this is a tiny portion of the bridge. I don't believe that. I think this is most of the bridge.
I don't think so.
Probably like 3/4.
I think if you go up like 1,000 feet in the air and look down, you're going to see less than if you look completely forward.
That's literally not true. Like,
yeah.
the higher up you go, the farther you can see.
Not if you're looking at water.
Doesn't matter what you're looking at, dude. That's how perspective works. The higher up you go, the farther you can see.
That's not how the center frame of a camera works. If you're looking down, then you're looking down at something. If you're looking forward, you're going to be seeing more.
But you can
forward.
still see the horizon in the picture, so you're not looking down at the ground. You're looking at an angle, but you can still see the horizon. So you're still looking at the horizon. You can still. It doesn't matter if you're looking directly at it or at an angle down. You can still see the horizon.
Like, it doesn't show anything to show these two images together. Like you could construct
and these
that
images aren't. This isn't even supposed to go together.
I know,
I was just
but what I'm
refuting
saying
your
is,
point
I don't
about that.
think I don't think that shows any type of distance on there. I mean, we could probably figure out what that length of the bridge is in length, but
I mean,
it's
that's
obviously
what we were trying to do.
it's not the entire bridge, and that's what we figured out from the other.
Yeah, but you
photos.
said it's a tiny portion. I'm saying it can't be.
I'm saying it's got to be a small portion of it. It's just one part.
That doesn't mean it's a small portion of it. It's obviously not a small portion of it because of how far you can see. That's what I'm saying. But we can move on.
Okay.
So this image, this needs to be bigger. This was taken, I think, in 2016 by a photographer, not a flat earther. Just a guy who takes pictures. And this was on the news. And the meteorologist or whatever, the weatherman, was talking about it. He was talking about how this is a mirage, and he explains how superior mirages work and yada yada. And when you're actually looking at how superior mirages work, first of all, the buildings would be inverted normally. They would be upside down. And it'd be a hazy image. But aside from that,
shit out of the cameras.
Sorry, I'm trying to do the whole
Yeah, you could do it but you just can't touch the table. You got to do it like this. You got to just be patient like a monk, Bradley. This is our training.
I'm not a monk. Fucking, I got too much anger for that shit. But so flat earthers started talking about this image.
Of
course, yeah, because it's clearly not a mirage.
Image over water from far away, so they're like, "Ooh, this is perfect."
Yeah, but because the math doesn't add up. Once again, this is 60 miles away.
Okay,
so we should maybe be able to see the tops of the very tippy tops of the tallest buildings.
Why?
I mean, we can. Yeah, because of the curve. I mean, we can do the math on that and how tall the buildings are and stuff. So I probably should have had that ready. I didn't.
It's so if it's supposed to be half of 6,000, 3,000 feet?
What?
If the bridge was 6,000 feet of dip.
Okay, so yes. Okay, so maybe 3,000. Well, I know because the curvature it's an exponential drop. So the math, I don't think it would work that way. Because it's not it just doesn't just double over. When you double the distance, the curvature doubles. When you double the distance, the curvature fucking quadruples or some shit, and then it exponentially drops the further away you look. So across 2 miles, it would be 16 feet, but across fucking 4 miles, it wouldn't be 32 feet. It would be more like 100.
Yeah, because that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be okay.
Because that would just be a slope.
Yeah.
So anyway. But yeah, I mean, people have done the math. I've done the math. And even the dude on the news he said, normally you would not be able to see this because of the curvature of the earth. What you're seeing is a mirage. And he shows the picture, he explains, and then he shows a diagram of how mirages work. And people really dissected that. And then he did a follow-up story on the news about it, basically saying, the flat earthers are saying that I'm wrong. And then he did a little experiment with I should have found that. But he did a little experiment with a lens just showing how the atmosphere magnifies, which actually helps the flat earth point, because that's what we're saying, is that this image is being magnified from the distance, and that's why it's being cut off by the water, because the atmosphere magnifies the image that
the
we're
moon
seeing.
would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Surface.
But
But wouldn't that
So-
just be the answer then? Is that's like magnified?
No, the
Like the moon would
answer is that that these buildings are over thousands of feet of curvature, but the light is bending around the curvature so perfectly that it just sits right on the horizon. That's the explanation. But so a guy actually did an experiment. This guy has done a lot of experiments. He's actually dead now, but like people want to see actual experiments. This guy's done a lot of physical experiments. This guy,
Hey guys, Rob Skiba
put
here.
it to the test. So he rented a
As
fucking
many of you
boat.
may
This is
know,
30-minute
I
video, so
have-
we're not watching the whole thing, obviously. Sorry.
You're good.
He rented a fucking boat and sailed toward. Well, this is like the news story and everything that he's shown. But he rented a boat.
Okay. So why does it matter if this one weatherman was wrong or not?
Because the picture shows buildings from a distance that we shouldn't be able to see them. The weatherman showed it on the news and explained, oh yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be able to see it, but this is why you can see it. And then this guy is showing why how that's not true. Physically sails towards it, and there's a longer version too.
He says you can see it the whole time.
You ever
if
wonder
go
about
to
the
it.
legal
It's not a mirage.
ramifications of
Yeah,
using
exactly.
your hands
Yeah.
or your weapon in self-defense?
So
And
if
how
it was
to
a
actually be
mirage, you wouldn't-
I
prepared?
don't think the weatherman would be right then, but that doesn't prove anything. It sounds like the
The
weatherman's
weatherman
probably
didn't
wrong.
make up the curvature. He didn't make
He
up the
didn't-
math.
Yeah, well,
So like the weatherman's just
obviously, if
reporting.
there's a photo of the skyline, you could see the skyline, right?
Yeah. So that's the point.
I
Why
wonder.
can we see the skyline is the question. You can't just answer it with, well, you can see the skyline. That doesn't work. Well, I'm asking why. Because mathematically you shouldn't be able to see it.
Well, obviously, mathematically, you can.
Yeah.
So let's
So
figure this
why?
out.
Why? That's the question.
So what is this? The Chicago skyline?
Chicago skyline from across Lake Michigan.
Why can you see the Chicago skyline from Lake Michigan? Time to wade through a whole bunch more.
Yeah, and that's the explanation, is that the skyline is being refracted around the curvature of the Earth so that you can see it. But if you take a boat from Michigan and you sail towards it, the buildings just get closer and closer, like they're
Well,
just sitting there.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't mean that they're not there when they say it's a mirage, that you can see it from that distance.
So there would be a point where the mirage disappears and the actual
No,
buildings
that's not
come
what
up
they
over the
mean.
curve.
They mean the fact that you can see it is because the images are being cast over light.
Yeah.
But that's like, I mean, that's
And it's also supposed to be under very specific conditions, but people have photographed this during all times of the year.
But it says you can only do it occasionally.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So, I mean,
And it became a whole news story that, like, this guy, he did that story, people picked it apart, and then he had to do a follow-up on it.
Let's see what the USA said today. Let's see if they have a good source here. If the Earth is really a globe, the Chicago skyline from Indiana would be hidden by 1,473 feet of Earth curve.
Indiana?
And the post, which garnered 2,000 likes, includes an image of the Chicago skyline taken across Lake Michigan at the Indiana Dunes State Park. But the claim is false. Scientists say that the photo actually proves that the Earth is indeed curved. While the buildings in the Chicago skyline are visible in the photo, parts of the buildings are obscured by the curve of the Earth.
Yeah, because the buildings are being magnified. And news guy even showed it in an experiment, and the guy who did the boat experiment did an experiment too, showing that I mean, you look through atmospheric lensing, the buildings on the distance are going to magnify and be cut off at the bottom.
Yeah, and it says the simple trigonomic equation confirms that the buildings at the Chicago skyline are indeed visible from the Indiana Dunes State Park.
What?
So the buildings are visible from that state park.
Yeah.
So and it's fine. The equation says that it's fine.
This is the only source that has ever said that from what I've seen. So I want to see that from like where the fuck are they getting that? I think they're just saying that. Like it's bullshit. Because the original news story wasn't even a response to flat earthers. It was just showing the buildings and explaining why we could see it.
Yeah, but the thing is you can't just take one dude and fucking that's making an ass out of himself and build your theories around that. He could be completely wrong. So we're going to read this source that like isn't just one fucking guy on the news being wrong about something. Okay. So the photo used in the meme matches an image captured by a photographer in 2019. The image was taken at the Indiana Dunes State Park, located just across the Indiana-Illinois border on the shores of Lake Michigan. That's what it's how it's pronounced. Michigan. Yeah. But the image doesn't prove the Earth is flat like the Post claims, Bradley. According to Rona Oren,
because the buildings are cut off at the building. I mean, at the bottom.
Yeah, because the buildings are cut off at the bottom, and you can always see them.
You can physically show through, like a fucking table, take a little screen that like a lens that magnifies a little bit. Put the fucking skyline at the end of the table, and it will magnify it, and the bottoms will be cut off. That doesn't prove that the table is curving. That's just how magnification works when you're looking at a distance.
I don't think you understand exactly what they're talking about.
What? I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
The curve is like
their explanation.
It's not like this. The curve is like that. But it's like how the moon is blown up at the edge of the.
Yeah. Okay. So they're saying the picture proves that the Earth is a sphere because the buildings are cut off at the bottom. When you can show through physical experiment that you can do that on a flat surface, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can do that on a flat surface with the wrong mechanics. That doesn't prove shit.
Not the wrong mechanics.
Yeah,
the atmosphere provably magnifies things on the horizon.
The atmosphere is curving behind. You can't simulate the atmosphere.
That's an assumption. You're assuming that.
No, that's how
you can't presuppose. No, that's not how it works. No, we're debating. No, listen to me. We're debating if the Earth is a sphere or not. You cannot presuppose the Earth is a sphere and then say, because the Earth is spherical and the atmosphere is curving away, this is why that happens. That's not how you debate.
I'm telling you, that's where the lens is. The lens isn't in between. It's not that the atmospherical curve isn't happening between you and the object. It's happening behind the object and reflecting up. In between this, like it's not
what I'm saying is the buildings you're looking at over a flat surface would be magnified and the bottoms would be cut off. So them saying this image proves that the Earth is a sphere is wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it necessarily proves that the Earth is flat. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that it shows that the Earth isn't a sphere. That's what I'm saying. And they're saying the opposite.
How does it show that the Earth isn't a sphere, though?
Because it doesn't add. Because you can see the buildings over a supposedly curved surface.
But that's okay.
And you sail towards it,
and you can
the buildings just get closer. They don't.
Wow,
there's no point where the mirage like gets hazy and fades away, and then the buildings come up over the horizon.
There's no point where the moon gets hazy and fades away, and there's another moon. But the moon is magnified over the horizon because of the curve of the atmosphere.
But you're presupposing a curved atmosphere. No, I'm saying if you look...
That's the answer for the phenomenon that we already have.
I'm giving you an alternative answer for the phenomenon that we already have.
And your alternative answer is that there's a lens in between us and the object?
That's the atmosphere. That's how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
That is how it works.
That's not how perspective works.
I mean, we could argue that all day then. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a...
Yeah.
Let's see what the rest of this is. Noted the lower halves of the building are not visible. According to Oren's calculations, 500 feet of the bottom of the Willis Tower, the tallest building in Chicago, would not be visible based on the distance the picture was taken from. The claim that there are 1,400 feet in elevation that is in the way is not correct. When I do the calculation, I get around 500 feet. So any building taller than 500 feet should be visible. Stefan explained his calculation took into account variables such as the height of the Willis Tower, elevation, and the distance between Chicago and the Dunes State Park. He concluded that it's possible to see the city skyline from the park despite the curve of the earth. Peter Littlewood, the chair of the Department of Physics at the University of Chicago, said the formula for determining whether a structure would be visible from a certain area is high school trigonometry. Well, okay, Peter, but not everybody knows high school trigonometry. Yeah. I don't fucking know high school trigonometry.
I think most people don't. I would say the majority.
It's pretty clear that you could see the Chicago skyline from the dunes, said Littlewood. He's like, yeah, fucking, yeah. Humans have known the Earth is... Oh, okay, well...
So, I mean...
It's supposed to be around 500 feet, according to the, like... the
even based off of that, you can see most of... all of the buildings on the skyline.
Well,
you think all those buildings are that much taller?
And what you're seeing is the buildings are cut at that 500-foot line, and then they're being magnified by the atmosphere. So they look bigger at that point. So they're like sort of like the mirage is that they're bigger than they should be from your perspective, the same the moon would be on the horizon. Like, because it does like a magnifying effect when you're like on the edge of the atmosphere, on the edge of like the horizon of things. It's like it's how the moon like looks bigger, because the moon doesn't look bigger to like it's purely a perspective thing based off like the curve of the edge of the atmosphere from our perspective. Because when you look at it, you're seeing all of the light hit and bend, and it does crazy shit. I mean, it does it with the moon. I mean, there's no other explanation for the moon doing that. Like,
what do you mean there's no other explanation for the moon doing that? The moon looks bigger from farther distance because you're looking through more atmosphere. That's why it does that.
Then how come
the moon looks bigger on the horizon than it does overhead? Right? Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
So it's being magnified by the atmosphere.
It's being magnified on the edges of our vision where we see the most curve in the atmosphere. Not just by virtue of looking through the atmosphere, because there's no lensing in the air.
No, but you have to think about how perspective works. Even on a flat plane, if you're looking like, okay, just play along here. I'm not saying you need to believe this. Just play along, okay? Imagine a flat atmosphere, right? And you're standing inside of it looking up at something. That's going to be the shortest amount of atmosphere you're looking at. When it's on the horizon, you're looking through the entire stretch of the atmosphere that you can see before you can actually see it. So you're looking through way more atmosphere. So it's going to magnify. That's what I'm saying. It's the same effect that you're describing with the curved atmosphere that you're saying. It's the same effect because you're looking at it through an angle.
Mechanic that doesn't actually exist.
I'm not making up a mechanic that maybe you're making up a mechanic that exists.
No, I'm not. That's because this is a verifiable thing. Like this is like
I'm saying logically it would work the same way. So that doesn't even
because you're making like that's like saying logically if like
so we can't.
There was a different chemical in the air, I would be breathing that instead of oxygen. You know, you can't disprove that with the level of knowledge you have. Like, there's no way to show me an oxygen molecule.
It doesn't even make sense because then we would just call that oxygen, and then it doesn't matter.
No, what if you were just claiming you breathed something else and oxygen was just made up? You actually breathed my asthma.
That would be a weird claim.
You want me to show that to you? I'm sorry, I'm teasing you a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. No, that doesn't even make sense. So
I know it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't, but it still qualifies as teasing. because of my tone. Oh, so it doesn't magnify stuff. So it's just showing the real size of those buildings across the lake. So that's just the answer.
I mean, there's two different explanations for that then, because
yeah, the news guy was wrong.
and it's not just the news guy, but whatever. We can move on.
Okay.
So here's another image that, to me, is very anomalous. This is, I'm not sure exactly what these platforms are.
Yeah.
There are these platforms in the water. This one's 6.21 miles away. This one's 9.41 miles away. And I've seen this debated multiple times, and the explanation is always that it's being refracted, as always, refraction. That's why you can see it. But when you look at this image, like, this is not below this, it's above it. And then you can still see the horizon behind this. So is the horizon also being refracted over the horizon? That doesn't even make sense. How can you see the horizon behind the horizon?
Oh, this looks like a shitty picture.
Well, it's this is a different picture without it's not shitty, it's enhanced so that you can see the color.
Oh, it looks like it's shitified.
It's shitified, yeah. This is a better picture. This is what it would look like to your eyes.
Yeah.
There's that, look, it's going over the curve. Oh, look.
Yeah.
And that's the effect that,
and then the shitified picture has the
but then that's not. So this is what you can't see is the horizon.
The picture is shitty. That's just it's been shitified, and the other one looks right. I mean, I don't see a problem here.
No,
that looks like a fucking. I thought you were showing me some shit from like the fucking 1940s when you were like before we scrolled down to show the other pictures.
No,
like I was like, is this like Ghost Ship?
It does kind of look like ghost ships, huh?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, but the explanation for this image, every time I've seen anybody discuss this, is that it's refraction. But then you're trying to tell me that the horizon is being refracted over the horizon so that it appears behind both the horizon and these things that should be below the horizon as well.
It looks like a shitty filtered version of the original image, meant to mislead people.
No, it's meant to enhance what you can't see, because
I feel like I could see a lot better in the other one. Let's go back to the other one. I don't know.
It looks like these are two different images taken probably under different conditions.
Yeah, I mean,
but these are the two pictures I found of it, showing these two platforms at a distance. This is what people would see and be like, oh, look, it's going over the curve. But and this has been shown in a lot of, I've seen this demonstrated over and over. Like, there's more, especially over water, the horizon is not right there. That's the horizon you see is, there's like, it's being cut off. The water back here is being miraged and reflecting the sky, so you can't see it. This is the same effect you see on hot roads, when you see the road disappear and the tires of the cars melt into the road. Same exact thing. So, in this image, when you look across water,
I kind of see it. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? When you look across
the reflection
water,
on it, yeah,
yeah. So it's being reflected. So the horizon is probably right here.
Yeah, I see exactly where it is.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, is normally this is what you would see, and it looks like it's going over a curve. But when you can enhance pictures like this, and yeah, it looks shitty because it's enhanced, but you can see the horizon.
It looks shitty because it's shitified. It's been shitified.
Yeah. You call it shitified. I call it enhanced.
Enhanced.
Whatever.
Well, I mean,
it's
you be the judge, audience.
Look, okay. This is what I'm saying. This is what you would see with your naked eye. This is what is actually happening. The horizon is behind this.
No, see, okay, I understand it. I'm finally there. I figured it out.
You're finally
okay. So just like this is a reflection, just like a road, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that's right there?
reflecting- Yeah.
So this is actually showing the true line. And this is where the reflections are. Boop, 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 boop. And then that's the reflection of the ship.
That's the horizon behind.
Yeah, well,
reflection.
no, that's the true horizon
That's
that
the
we're
true
talking
horizon, yeah.
about. But this is all just the reflection at the bottom, like a hot road.
So you're saying this is the real
then they-
horizon that we see in the background, right?
Yeah, and then this is the reflection.
That's my
illusion.
point. That's
And then
that's
they increase the saturation a whole bunch to where it looks like there's another horizon behind the boat. But that's not what's happening.
wait. What are you saying is the real horizon?
This, where the sky is white like this. This is that reflection thing that you're talking about.
So the real horizon that you can see in this image.
Yeah.
That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Is that if this is refraction, why is the horizon being refracted over the horizon? You can see the horizon behind.
No, it isn't. That's not what. See, look, if
They're
you,
saying it's refraction. That's why you can see this.
no, it's refraction. That's why you can see this parts of the ship, and it looks like there's a second horizon. Is because it's reflecting part of the ship, and they could turn the saturation up a whole bunch to where it looks like one continuous thing with a second horizon behind it, making this boat look like it's in front of the second horizon when it's actually just a reflection caused by that same illusion that we see in this other photo on this bottom part. So if we were to increase the intensity right here, this part where it's showing this extra little bit that doesn't make sense, that's just the reflection. So if I increase the contrast right here, it would show that there would be a second horizon behind this boat,
Yeah.
just like that. But that doesn't mean that there's a second horizon behind the boat. It's just that, like,
No,
once
that's
you
the
incre-
real horizon. This isn't the actual horizon. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's
not where the
there's a cutoff
not where the
point.
blue ends. There's clear. That clear is where it's reflecting the sky and reflecting part of the boat. That's what
Yes.
you're saying, right?
Yes,
And I
so
see it
it's-
right here. You can see where it reflects part of the boat. It's reflecting part right here. And if this is the true horizon, then it would show up as behind this if you were to increase the fucking contrast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but that okay. So 99% of the Earth.
This is something that happened this year. And I remember hearing about it. It was July 8th of this year.
Do you want to watch this video or do you want to look it up just to save time?
I mean, it's not a long video, but we can. I mean, it would probably be longer if we read a fucking article.
Well, we have to get an answer.
Yeah. In the video, they show.
What was the date? June 8th?
July 8th.
July 8th. Well, that's right before Erica's birthday.
But in the video, they actually do an experiment with a globe to see if this checks out.
Okay, so that means 99% of the Earth's nearly 8 billion residents will be on the sunlit side at the same time. So that means the land.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water.
So 99%. Yeah. But if you actually do, you can go to, and that's why the video is probably better because they go to timeanddate.com. They show that day what land masses are in the sun, and then they do.
Well, in the sun doesn't mean sunlit. Like in the sun, like day and dusk.
day side.
Well, there's also dusk, and there's still sun hitting parts in the
But
dusk.
that's at the
And
edges.
that's whenever they want to say like an extra ass thing like that, they're probably fucking. It's probably a lot simpler than. Nearly the entire world's population will bask in the sun rays. You feel me? How that's a little like a little specific because it's a sensationalized
Yeah, it's very
term.
specific.
That's why he's saying it so specifically. A claim circulated. In other words, 1% sounds a little far-fetched, right? It turns out it's true. EarthSky.org crunched the numbers at 11 Universal Time. An additional 3% will be from astronomical twilight, which occurs when the sun is below the horizon. but its glow still.
Okay,
illuminates the patch
so
of the
then
sky.
96% of the world is in straight up sunlight.
No, they're talking about everything from when the sun is in the sky
Yeah.
to when it's so far below that all you're seeing is a glow.
Yeah,
along
they're
the
saying that's only
horizon.
3% is that.
No, that would
right?
be. They're saying they're counting. See, 96% of the population is in a bit of sunlight, and then an additional 3% is in astronomical sunlight, which is darkness. So they're counting everything from normal sunlight to darkness, all the way to like where it's basically dark.
What are you talking about?
Because they're counting
astronomical twilight is when
the sun is below the horizon,
but the
its
light
glow
is still peaking.
illuminates
Yes.
a patch of the sky.
So that's not.
So that's pretty late at night. That's pretty far. Like that would be nighttime to most people. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just like it's an exaggerated article. I mean, it's an exaggerated term.
I mean, you can say that, but like.
But I mean, that's it. Like this guy is probably going to say that it's talking about. Well, look, we're going to see what he's saying. He's going to be talking about daytime when we're talking about everything from day to fucking like late dusk. Like we're talking about every moment that the sun could be like peaking on one end of the horizon and you seeing a little fucking glow on the edge.
Yeah. Well, okay. So this is.
So, and we could.
Happening right now across the globe. As of about 3 minutes ago, 7:15 Eastern Time, 99% of the entire world's population is facing.
Oh, see, we can't even. He has copyright music in there.
But.
Oh my god. See, okay, see, look.
It's showing the parts of the Earth that will be lit up.
Yeah.
This is the part you're talking about, the like twilight, right? This little like dark blue section. So that yeah.
Yeah.
That's twilight right there. And then this is night.
Yeah.
So they're not counting any of this. They're counting all of this.
Yeah,
So that's what
even
we're
the stuff
looking
in
at.
Twilight.
So that's what we're looking at.
And that's all of the that's most of the
In
Earth's
this
population.
Video, okay, so he does like a test with a globe, a light, to see like.
Yeah, and it
How
would
much
be
of it-
counting stuff on this. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And this is the worst way to explain it because
Well, he's measuring the angle to line it up and everything. So you can like add some twilight right here where the light fades away. That doesn't change much.
yeah.
He's marking where the terminator line is.
Yeah, I think this is the worst fucking way he could do this. This is the most
Why?
harebrained, like,
Why? How would you do it?
because he's in his garage with a fucking light.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are things that track the sun's thing, like path in the sky. You don't have to,
That's what he used.
but he's
to show what continents he's looking for. So what parts of the world will be in darkness and what parts will be in light.
Check out all the land that doesn't light up on the globe. Half of Russia, most of Asia, Mongolia, half of India,
see,
Thailand.
this is ridiculous. That's nothing like what we're talking about. He grossly misunderstands it, and then
So how how do you show that then? Like what's the mistake here? How
that news people are sensational, and there's not really a mistake if they're counting everything from
I'm talking
day
about the
to
experiment. What was wrong with the experiment?
the experiment was
And-
he was purposely they had
And-
Asia in the fucking diagrams, so I don't know why he's like re-showing that Asia wouldn't be in the diagram, because it obviously is in the sun tracker things. And if it was like doing the edges too, that the edges were only in places like Australia and Western America, so why is he talking about He was like being misleading and confusing on purpose and misunderstanding the whole thing.
I don't know. I don't even understand what you're saying. You went out of the video and now you're.
Well, we can go back to it.
I don't know what you're saying.
Check this out. On July 8th, 99% of the world.
Okay.
So what he showed on the
right
globe,
now
go back to that.
across the
What he showed on the globe is that all this was in darkness. You can add twilight there if you want, but in this, it's in daylight.
What he decided that by a globe in his basement, and you're going to trust that over actual? No, that's not the same as going and getting an actual sun tracker. Look at him.
What are you talking about? Getting an actual sun tracker? What does that mean?
You can get things that track like. And what is he? You could prove this with what he's doing, right? Oh yeah, because he's trying. Oh my god, the fucking ridiculous sun and the platter things.
You just say it's all ridiculous and he's being misleading, but you don't explain how. The map shows completely different than what the physical globe
because
shows.
He's in his fucking basement doing
this. The basement changes the proportions of the globe?
But
I don't understand how that changes anything.
They're showing like what is he
okay, this is the actual. You said why doesn't he get an actual sun tracker or whatever? That's what he's testing. Okay,
he's
this is what the
sun
actual
tracker is wrong because the globe in his basement.
No, he's saying the globe is wrong because the sun trackers are right. What are you talking about? This is based off of the actual sun tracking. This is people tracking the sun. This is what we observe. This is the daylight we observe. It doesn't line up with the actual physical model of the globe.
Yes, it does. Why would you think it doesn't?
And I've seen this on other occasions. I would have to find those as well.
This is a map where it's
add
stretched at the top because it's a Mercator projection.
But it's showing
so it's looping like this. It's a perfect circle from the sun, like from the Earth's curvature, and the sun hitting it from one angle. Like I don't know why. Like how is that fucking?
What are you doing? Okay. The daylight that it shows on here does not add up with the actual models of the globe, which are supposed to be more accurate than this map.
That doesn't make any sense because if this wasn't a Mercator projection, this would be a circle. So I don't see what.
This actually isn't a Mercator projection. It's a Gauss-Peter projection, which makes the continents the right sizes. The Mercator projection makes Greenland way bigger than Africa. Here, it's more accurate. It's not completely accurate, but it's way more accurate than the Mercator. But that's a side note.
Okay, but what I'm saying is it's stretched like that because if it was on a globe, it would be a circle. Like, I don't understand why this would be like, oh, impossible. Like, I don't understand that at all. How would this be impossible?
What do you mean?
Because this guy showed it in a garage. The
globe is supposed to be how the Earth actually is, not this map. But this map represents the sunlight we actually see. So he's showing that the sunlight we actually see in the continents that are lit up on that specific day does not match with the actual globes that we have that are supposed to be accurate representations of the Earth. That's the point. I mean,
I think that's the most harebrained way to do a fucking experiment like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think if you reconsidered that for a little bit, you would change your mind.
I mean, it's a physical experiment. I don't see people on the globe side doing any better.
I mean, there's a Dave McKeegan video. Watch that.
On that? Or what
on this specific thing.
On this specific day?
Yeah, on the July thing.
Okay, well, I'll watch it. I don't know. So, you see, I've watched a couple of his videos, and I really didn't like him, so I'm trying not to give him views.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'll watch it, whatever. Okay, so this is what I was trying to tell you about when I said that Einstein, like relativity was specifically reverse engineered to explain why the Earth is clearly not moving. And this is the Michelson-Morley experiment. This was an experiment.
We're not going to have time for this.
I know.
Okay, so we're going to save this for part 3. We're not going to do part 3 next, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these subjects We're gonna take Michelson Morley. I'm gonna add
that was
it.
the last one. We talked about the axis of evil a little bit on the
Yeah,
last
but I
one.
want to do the game to end the show
Yeah.
instead of ending it on another like
Yeah.
confusing
Okay.
thing.
Well, I mean,
we'll do Michelson Morley next. Okay.
okay. Well, not next week.
Not next week, but next for our next space episode, we'll do
Okay.
Michelson Morley.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I'll have more to.
Yeah, and let's do
add to that.
let's do around the world first, and we'll do Michelson Morley next. Okay. So we're supposed to. Okay, I have to get these. Get weed loaded up. So we're playing around the world, and we're supposed to predict a card. And we have all the questions here. We have all the predictions here. Okay. And you're dealt 4 cards each, and then you're supposed to guess what all the cards are going to be. You know.
Wait. What?
Yeah. So for the first card, the player must predict the color of the card draw. So
Am I loading all
red
of
or
this?
black. You can load however much you need. All of it, yeah. For the first card, guess the color. For the second card, you have to guess whether it will, whether the second one will be higher or lower than the first card,
Wait.
like in number.
Wait. Say that again. So you.
First one, you're guessing the color.
Okay.
Second one, you're guessing whether the number will be higher or lower. So that's a pretty fair guess.
Okay.
And then the third one, you're predicting whether it's going to be within the value of the first 2 cards or outside of the value of the first 2 cards. So if you get a 3 and a 5, you can guess whether it's going to be inside, which is between 3 and 5, or outside, which is like less than 3, more than 5. And then the fourth one, you have to guess what suit it'll be. You could. Do you want to? Okay, so we could choose the rule. We could either be like, just guess the suit, or guess whether it's going to be the same suit as the first as the last card. Let's just make it the one suit. So like it's a hard guess. And the suit is like spades, clubs, diamonds, or hearts. You know it.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fun. See, this is called Around the World, and it's a really complicated game.
It's
like
I don't understand it. And I'm really bad with card games as it is. So
Here,
like,
deal me the first 4 cards, and we'll do it. And I'll help you along the way. So put down 4 cards right here. I'll help you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm supposed to guess the color of the first card. We should probably wait till there's weed ready, but yeah, but it's just that'll be it. So I'm gonna vamp for a little bit. I think our conversations were pretty valuable today. I mean, it was a little bit slower, a little bit more complicated, but I expected that. Move on to the next thing. I want next time to be a normal episode, except I'm going to prepare my own presentation for 9/11 because I know all the same conspiracies you do. It would be sort of like a
deal.
Well, for the most part, like, and maybe if like for the second episode, you can prepare something and we can do that. Like,
I mean, I just had some
want
things.
some of our next episodes to actually be like have more variety to them.
Yeah, I just like. What do you mean? So you're just gonna do a presentation on 9/11?
Well, I think I'm gonna do I'm gonna refute all the claims made in Zeitgeist.
Okay, because I'm not even on that zeitgeist shit. That's like surface level. That's like the moon landing claims that like I already wasn't even trying to argue when we got into that conversation.
Yeah, but
like it's
exactly,
like that surface
exactly
level
like
type stuff.
the moon landing. If I could prove that it happened, then no other conspiracy matters, unless you believe the whole thing happened and it was planes and terrorists with box cutters.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't understand the point you were making there. What do you mean?
Like, I mean, your claims to some extent are that they bombed the buildings instead of it being the planes that hit the buildings.
Yeah.
That's the same claims as Zeitgeist.
No,
So-
Zeitgeist claims that. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't speak definitively on this because I haven't seen Zeitgeist in many years. But usually, the like surface level 9/11 claims is that it was Islamic terrorists, but they were like hired by the government. Basically, that's not what I'm arguing.
Okay.
So,
Well, what? I don't think Zeitgeist. Does Zeitgeist argue that?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they just talk about.
I'm pretty
like,
sure Zeitgeist is the bombing.
Well,
thing.
yeah.
And Zeitgeist is the origin of jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Yeah, but they're not saying that there were no Islamic terrorists involved that flew physical planes into the buildings. That they're not like they're not saying that nothing like that happened.
Well, if I can prove that there are buildings and Muslims, I guess, then it doesn't matter whether like you believe there are holograms involved or something, right? Like it would disprove those theories as well.
What?
I think it's going to be black. Oh, it's red. I got to smoke. Thank you.
Okay, so what?
You got to
So-
keep talking. Just keep talking
Oh.
about normal stuff.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out this fucking game, man.
This is the second question you're supposed to ask me, but I could also just guess myself. You don't have to ask me if you don't want to.
So it's basically just me asking whatever you
We're
would
just
ask
having
yourself.
normal
anyway.
conversations while we're doing the rest of this because we don't want the podcast to just be us saying our guesses back.
Yeah, true.
That's why I want it to be a nice segment instead of a other thing. But what were you saying about 9/11? I think it's going to be less. Oh, it's more. God damn it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I maybe have a little bit wilder theories on 9/11 than what you're refuting. So
Yeah, but don't I refute a lot of flat Earth claims by proving the moon landing the same way I could debunk a lot of crazier claims about 9/11 by debunking the basic claims by Zeitgeist?
no,
You don't think, or is it just a waste of time?
no, not really. And I mean, I wouldn't really say you proved the moon landing. You just proved that what the point I was making wasn't a good point. But
As far as the audience is concerned, and the
oh,
official
yeah?
stance of the podcast,
Oh yeah,
well,
oh yeah. And we'll see about that.
official
We'll
stance.
see how much of that audience sticks around after hearing what I have to say. Anyway,
No,
But-
no, the only person who's going to quit the show are the conspiracy theorists.
Oh,
They're going to
yeah?
be like, "Oh, Bradley changed. She was so cool in the first season."
Well, I guess one of us is gonna have to piss off half of our audience.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I think we're going to piss off the lame half that are half Nazis.
I don't think I'm attracting Nazis.
No, I'm saying half of flat earthers are Nazis.
I wouldn't say that. I'd
Half
say
of
it's
them.
it's a fringe group of them.
A quarter. It's already a fringe group. There's like 12 people. If 2 of them are Nazis, then that's a sixth. Is that a fair
that's
number?
ridiculous. There's, I guarantee, millions of flat earthers.
I mean,
You're
like
insane if you think it's
no,
that little.
I mean like the pushers, the propagandists for flat Earth. You know, there's a few. There's there's only so many of them, and a few of them are Nazis because unfortunately, Nazis, like a lot of occult esotericism and flat Earth, is directly involved with that.
I mean, the Nazis were obsessed with a lot of occult stuff. So,
and neo-Nazis are more obsessed than normal Nazis were. Normal Nazis were like, I mean, they were just like German dudes for the most part. It was like the bourgeoisie of the Nazi party were like into, and even then, it was like one guy, who was really into the occult. I can't remember his name, but it was just one general that was just super into the occult, and he pushed Hitler to do a lot of occult things. And then when he got captured by the British, Hitler stopped doing that stuff. But a lot of Nazism is derived from like theosophy and stuff, which is the same stuff. Like it's just like a mystic pseudo fantasy historic pseudo historic.
Theosophy talks about like, oh yeah, in 29,000 years people will be living on Mercury with wings. Like it says stupid shit like that.
But it also says very things that really resonated with people at the time. I think it created a whole religion plus a whole bunch of offshoots.
I think what they did is they took things that are rooted in truth and twisted them into this weird occult like fantasy story.
Like the concept of evolution, but then they made it eugenics.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, what? I don't have the.
My next guess is that it's gonna be a. Okay, whether it's gonna be inside. Oh, it is inside. So it's within the value of the first two. Okay. So I got a 7 of jacks. And then I forgot to guess that one. So I guess I'll smoke.
I guess that's fine. Oh man, this is just stoner move. Holy shit. Look at it and then try to guess.
Okay.
So I think I get it more. Okay, so you get the first time you guess the color.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second time you guess if it's going to be higher or lower than that value.
Yeah.
And then the third time you guess if it's going to be between those values.
Yeah.
And then the fourth time you guess the
suit.
Suit.
Okay.
Okay.
So, boom, 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 boom. What's your first guess? I mean, what color do you think it is?
I'm gonna go with black.
You gotta smoke. Yeah, I think a lot of conspiracies are just made by like kind of just what are they? I'm talking about like the propagandists here. It's made like chaotic evils, like they kind of just want to like fuck shit up and create like a hassle for people.
Well, I think there are people like that, and some of them are obvious, like good old AJ.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's going to be higher or lower? Or the same?
Lower.
Holy shit! It was the same.
Oh shit!
You gotta smoke.
Damn, I'm bad at this game.
No, I don't think I wouldn't have guessed the same. It's very rare. It even says in the rules
not about skill. Anyway.
It says in the rules that you can guess the same, but it's usually not the same. So it's probably not a good guess. It says that in the
like
rules.
The least likely. Yeah, that's why that would be the least. That would be the last one I would guess.
Okay. Do you think it's going to be between or outside? I think you're safe.
How do I even answer that?
It's outside, right?
Yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is this gonna be a what suit?
Let me see these ones. I'm gonna go with that one's spade, right?
Yeah.
I'll go with a club.
And it is a club.
Oh, I got one.
Yeah,
out of
nice.
4.
And the most unlikely one 2.
Yeah.
Guessing the
Right?
suit, that's the hardest one. Okay. So now you give me 4, you put 4 cards down for me, and then you can ask me the questions this round.
I get it. This isn't as confusing once you. See, I usually have to, when it comes to card games and board games and stuff, I have to see somebody play it first. Like, it's hard for me to read directions and comprehend what it's saying, so it's easier to see it.
Yeah.
You know?
And the game gets more complicated than that, but we're going to play this round out a couple times.
Okay, so I just play you 4 cards. Do I have to pick them randomly or just off the top? Is it already shuffled?
You just pick whatever 4 you want. I don't care if you even know them.
Alrighty. Oh, wait, it's just how many cards? The fucking design fucks with my head. This is more than 4.
It like messes with my vision
Yeah,
too.
what the fuck? How many cards am I holding? Okay, this is 4. Jeez, okay. I didn't show you any, did I?
No.
Okay. All right. So, what do you think?
I think it's red.
Red?
Yeah. Oh, I gotta smoke.
Gotta smoke.
See, it's the coolest game because there are consequences that are fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the same with drinking games, but it's always actually not fun with drinking games especially if you're taking shots. That's
I actually kind of hate it. It's a little scary.
yeah, it's not fun. If you're bad at the game, you end up the drunkest one at the party and all sick and shit. Yeah. So it's better with weed for sure.
I think it's gonna be higher.
It's gonna be higher.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Nice.
I mean, it'd be kind of weird to guess lower
Yeah.
that card, I guess.
I can load this well. I guess
All
the next one. I think it's gonna be probably outside. Nice. Where's the? Oh, here it is. Where's the grinder?
But so you got that wrong, right?
No, I
said
got that right.
outside.
That's outside. Within is between 3 and 6.
Yeah. Wait. Oh no, never mind. I was mixing up the 3 and 2. My
Yeah,
bad.
you're good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Where'd the grinder go?
Oh.
And then the last one, I think it's a. Shit, give me a spade. Call a spade a spade.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I think it's a spade. Nice.
You got
Wow, I got
all
4
black
spades. Yeah, all black spades.
What the fuck? This fucking. I should have picked random. You didn't shuffle this shit good enough.
Probably not.
I'm not good at shuffling cards. Either,
Yeah, neither am I.
I'll try. I'm like really bad at shuffling cards. Always have been. I don't know how people do this shit. Shit. And then they do the fucking like arch thing where they push it together. What are you looking for?
The screen.
Oh, did you just dump it out, or is it
I
in?
don't think I did.
Did I dump it
Is
out?
it in the
I
ashtray?
probably I dumped it out.
Okay.
Okay.
That explains why it was so clogged. I was like, what is going on here? And then I put my finger and I was like, there's nothing in here. Cool.
Yeah. But trying to, you know, when people do the fucking, they shuffle it all smooth, and then they do the thing where it like arches and they push the cards together all smoothly. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that shit? I don't know. I'm terrible with cards. I'm just not good with my hands, I think, though.
Yeah, not very dexterous.
Yeah, nah, not at all. Okay. Now I'm playing, right? How many turns do we do? We just go until we decide to stop?
Well, there's another round, but I don't know if we're gonna go into it. We might just stick with this. It looks
Oh, so we're supposed to have
Yeah, that
dealer.
shit's insane.
Yeah,
that is
no.
so hard.
We need
I
a
would-
third person for that.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
So we'll just just keep doing round one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It'll be fun to have Migos here for one because maybe we can make the whole thing games instead of like the usual podcast. Make it a special one with just games.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Just pick like 3 games to play.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Because if we all bring our weed, we could definitely smoke a lot.
And we have a shit ton of like board games and stuff.
Modify those to weed games.
Yeah.
Weedopoly.
Right.
Who knows how that would even work?
I don't know when you're I don't know how
Yeah.
that would work.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works with that. But
Okay. So it's your turn,
okay,
huh?
so I'm gonna guess red. Oh shit!
Yeah, you
I
got
promise I didn't cheat. We
it.
can
Maybe
play
say
the cameras
6
back.
of hearts. 6 of hearts.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess. Wait, so I guess it's gonna be higher or lower. It's a tough one because it's like right in the middle. Let's say lower. Oh shit!
Oh, you got higher. You got higher.
Lighter.
Oh, no, just put it on the table.
All right, then I'm gonna guess between. Is that? Yeah, that's between, right? Yeah. That's below king.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the suit?
Shit. Okay, I got a heart and 2 spades. Tried this before. I'm gonna try it again because there's got to be a club in this deck somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Nice.
You're actually pretty good at that.
Yeah, I guess not bad. I mean, I kind of use a little bit of logic here. I'm like, well, there's
Yeah.
got to be a club eventually. I keep seeing spades.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Boom.
I mean, I did the opposite tactic on the last one by being like, I keep seeing spades. I'm going to go with another spade. And there were 4 in a row for some fucking reason.
yeah, it seems like that shouldn't have worked, but it did. All right. So now,
Sometimes you got to call a spade a spade. I know that's the 3rd time I've made that joke, but I don't know if the audience heard me the first 2 times.
got to do a.
They're really busy
when you
with
do
their
the
groceries.
editing. You got to do the little drum
Yeah.
every time you
Yeah.
say that.
Right?
All right.
Okay. I think it is black.
Black. Ooh.
Bad start.
Bad start.
Okay, well, if it's red, then that means the next one has to be lower.
Is ace higher or lower? Because I know different games play different.
I know. Ace is high. Is that fair?
I'll say it's high. Yeah.
Okay. Ace is usually high in my mind.
But I mean,
usually
like,
think of ace as 1, but I mean, I get it.
yeah, I always thought it was the highest, but then I realized it was 1, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we both assumed it was the highest.
Yeah.
And then I questioned it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
So
So we'll
just play
go by
like it's the
intuition.
highest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously you didn't. Why would you guess lower if you thought that was lower?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so as we keep playing, I'm going to talk about we could talk about the morals of the episode. I think we learned today. I think the next one is going to be out, by the way. It's going to be outside of the 2. But I think we learned that like that drive in the bridge would be crazy. Like the drive on the bridge. No matter
That would be
fucking
crazy.
what,
I would
that
like to
be such
see
a crazy
that.
drive,
That'd
yeah.
be so cool.
Yeah. It's so crazy that they have that.
Yeah.
It seems it's just so wild. And I think the next one's going to be spade. I was hoping to hit another one, but we might have collected close to a good amount of spades by now.
Yeah. Are we supposed to be counting cards? Okay. I was like, oh shit, I've just been combining
That's
them.
illegal.
That's illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal. You can't do that.
How do we know who wins then?
Yeah, we can count cards at the end.
But I've been combining them. That's what I was saying.
No, I've been taking all mine. Oh,
You didn't take all of them.
oh, I didn't.
No, because I dealt some of them.
Damn.
Yeah. We didn't really establish that part of the game. I didn't think about it.
Well, let's just keep going. I'll keep
Yeah.
taking cards, and maybe we'll give you like a handicap or something. Okay. So what do you think?
Black.
It is red, ladies and
Ah, damn.
gentlemen. Yeah, and I think we learned that these the producers on these YouTube videos can't put copyright music in it. If they want to spread their message, they can't use copyright music. I mean,
I don't think they're thinking about podcasts dissecting their videos. They're just
well, don't they
making it
want
as
that
like
to
a-
happen if they want to spread their message? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think?
Okay. What was that?
Higher or lower?
What was it? Was that 8, right?
Oh yeah, I took it. My bad.
I think it's gonna be lower.
Okay. You got it.
I got it.
6, red 6. Okay, in out.
Outside. No.
It was outside. We got a 2. I got a lot of diamonds in a row. Even though I picked them from the deck randomly.
What is up with this deck?
Yeah, it's wild.
I just
Okay,
tried to
what-
reshuffle it.
What do you think? Do you think it's going to be another diamond, or do you think it's going to be a club
You know what?
again?
You know what?
Oh shit!
You
You're
know
gonna
what?
do it?
I'm gonna guess another diamond.
Another diamond.
I know.
It's a club. You should have guessed club.
What was the number?
It's
I
a
said a
9 of
black
clubs.
8. I was so close.
Close.
That is close.
Okay. Okay. So. I guess we're not going to count cards. But yeah, next time we need to think of a way to keep score.
Yeah.
Just like we kept
We
score
didn't
last
discuss
time.
that.
We kept score last time. We should have kept score this time, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean,
The
when you do the editing, you can figure out who won.
yeah,
So,
maybe I can, huh?
well, yeah.
Yeah, in post.
Obviously,
I'll
you
figure
can.
it-
You just
I'll
got to
figure out
watch
the
watch the segment in its entirety and count each win.
You're really right.
Yeah.
You're very.
So it
right.
doesn't really matter if we keep track
You know,
of it or not.
That's
It's
the first time tonight I'm going to tell you, Bradley. I think you're right on the money.
just...
Okay, so it's your turn to deal.
Don't be surprised. Don't be so surprised.
Don't be. I'm not surprised. I think you're an intelligent man.
I hope so. I
think
maybe I'm
the
a little
reason
crazy.
why people
but-
get deceived by this stuff is because it's propaganda meant to deceive people based off of like the perceptions. It's like geared towards people like you, disaffected young men.
What
like-
does that mean?
Conspiracy propaganda is specifically targeted towards people like us, both of us. We're disaffected young men. We're unhappy with the system, and we want to find solutions to it, and we're reaching and grabbing for answers. And these motherfuckers, they come up with answers, but some of them are liars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we agree on that. It's just we don't exactly agree on which ones are liars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we agree. Well, I mean, we do agree on some of them.
Yeah.
Like Alec.
Yeah.
Can I even say his name? Is that like a bad word now on
No.
YouTube?
Oh, I think we can talk about
I feel
it.
like it's like saying Hitler, but
Yeah.
I'll say it anyway. Yeah, Alex. I just said Hitler. Yeah.
Yeah. This podcast is uncensored, I think. I don't know if I've censored it or not in post.
I think you'll probably have to censor a couple of things, but
What do you think?
Okay. Fucking. It's gonna be red. Damn it, man! It keeps switching on me, flip flopping.
You got smoke.
I do gotta smoke. All right.
Does it need more weed?
It's yeah, I got like a hit, I think.
Okay. Yeah, what else do we learn today? Above or below?
I'm gonna say above.
Ooh, nice. That's a 7 from a 6. That's good. Okay.
This game isn't bad.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll leave this next one. What do you think for the last one? I mean, for the second to last one. Is it in or out? This is a hard one.
Gee, I wonder. It's out.
Okay. You're safe for now. It's a 2 of clubs. I don't really need to show you.
It could have been anything.
In the suit?
Oh shit! Why do we always have like gangs that group up of the same fucking color and suit?
Yeah, and I take them out randomly
It's
since the
weird.
deck isn't shuffled, right?
It's so weird. I'm gonna say fucking. Have we seen a single heart?
We haven't seen very many hearts.
I don't remember seeing one.
We've seen a lot of spades and diamonds.
Have we seen a single fucking heart?
I have 2 in my pile.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I have one. I have 2. Okay. Why is it so... You know what?
What do you think?
Yeah, part of me wants to go with heart, but I'm not feeling it.
You're not going to go with your heart?
I'm not going to go with my heart on that one.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to go with a spade. Oh my god. Oh man, that was funny.
That's pretty good.
It makes for good entertainment at least. Holy shit.
Yeah,
what the fuck? This game is rigged, man.
Yeah.
New conspiracy.
Yeah.
Malachi rigged this game before he came over.
It's a rigged deck.
It's a rigged deck.
It's meant to be as random as possible. Only I know what cards are next.
Why is it so not random then?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
Okay.
If you didn't rig the deck.
So you're serving.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can.
Oh wait, I need a hit.
Yeah. I think the other thing we learned today is that these flat Earth debates, I don't think they make for our best content.
Probably not,
but I think it's good for us. I think it's a fun little exercise on like researching things together. And
well, but honestly, like if I am being deceived, I don't want to be deceived.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is good for us to discuss it, and I think it's good for other people to hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of people are in the same boat. There are a lot of people who legitimately don't know because it's hard to know what information you can trust these days.
Yeah.
Because you see the government lie about things, and then you see the underdogs lie about things, and then like who do you go to for information after that? So people basically pick and choose who they go to. And
yeah, exactly.
That's obviously going to be that's going to lead you to faulty conclusions sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, wait, who's playing?
Okay.
What is
you're serving.
I'm dealing.
And you're dealing.
I'm a dealer.
Does Catherine want to hit that again, or?
It's confusing.
I'm trying to keep you in circulation while still keeping the game going.
It's a little hard to do.
Now you can deal.
Okay. No, you good. You good. Okay. You. Yeah. Okay. We definitely got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay. No.
Let's do this as fast as we can.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
Speed round. Red. God damn it. Yeah, but I don't think anybody wants to be deceived. I think it's gonna be higher. And I don't think anybody likes being lied. Feeling like they've been lied to or accepting that they've been lied to.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be in between. And I think people.
I'm not even showing the camera, but he's lost every one of these so far.
I think the bravest people are the ones who go back and reconsider their positions.
All right.
It's like going from a cringe atheist to a Chad secularist. You know,
What is?
it's like I don't think religion should influence government, but religion isn't something that should be like religion isn't the root of all evil, like a cringe atheist would say.
Yeah,
You know?
it annoys me how like if somebody even mentions God on the internet, there's always somebody that has
I think
to
it's
start
gonna be a
talking
heart.
shit.
Oh, God damn it.
Shit. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen that on like Reddit and stuff, where somebody even uses the word God as an expression, and then somebody's like, "Yeah, God is not real."
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm gonna surf.
Yeah, you're fucking Sky Daddy, but
Yeah, it's a little deeper than that.
it's like, I mean,
I don't think it's realer than that, but I think it's deeper than that. Okay. So, what do you think it's going to be? Red or black?
I'm gonna go with black.
Red.
Damn. Did you say red?
I said diamond.
Oh, I'm
It
guessing
was a
that-
heart.
But
Oh.
it is red anyway.
All right.
What are you gonna guess?
So we established ace is higher.
Ace is high.
So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be lower.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. In out.
Out.
You're safe. Suit.
I'm gonna go with spade. Oh shit!
A heart.
Gotta start guessing them hearts more.
Okay. Yeah, we have a few more to go and then we're done. Then we'll do plugs and we're out of here. And I won't pee until we're done so I can work as quick as possible, you know? That's why I'm going to start dancing more and more as the episode goes on.
It's motivation to hurry the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're dealing so black. It was black.
Good.
You should hold it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm bad with having an audience.
Remembering the cameras.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is pretty fun. This would be fun to do as a drink. This is like it's fun to do as a smoke. I don't like drinking. So it's
Yeah.
a fun game.
I don't drink
This is
anymore.
a genuinely fun game.
I've been
So-
drinking like probably pretty close to a year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be higher, of course. Nice. And then it's gonna be it's gonna be in. Ah, shit.
That was
You
your
gotta-
safest
you
bet,
gotta show
but
the
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
did I show the last one?
No.
Whatever.
It was a queen before that. That's why it was. That's why it was
That's
dramatic.
Yeah.
It'll be more dramatic in post.
It would. Yeah. Oh, I wish we had a fucking card cam. We should have thought about that. How you did the blunt cam.
I thought about it, but I think it would just be hard to pull off.
Yeah.
I looked at my other phone cam footage. It's all been very shitty so
Oh,
far.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Damn near unusable.
Damn.
Okay, so It's going to be another club. Oh, shit.
It's that elusive spade that keeps running away from me.
Okay. Red or black?
Red. Damn it.
We have just enough weed to go through the cards. It's perfect. Okay.
What was
Nope.
it?
It was... Oh, shit. What was the card? It was
I'm
red.
assuming it... Oh, yeah, where'd you put
So
it?
it was this red 5. I don't know how I did that so quick. I mix it completely into
Oh,
shit.
man.
But it's a red card.
If I
Which
didn't
one
know
do you
the
want?
Number.
Which one do you want? I'll let you choose.
Wait, no. I guessed red. And I got it wrong.
I thought you guessed black. You got it wrong. Oh, you guessed red?
I guessed red and got it wrong. So it was
So-
the first black card that was on there.
So it's the 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Sorry.
the 3.
The 3 of clubs. Yeah, sorry. We're getting pretty stoned because it's the speed round.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So
So it's going to be higher.
close. That was close.
Close.
I love
a
how
little iffy about it.
our brains construct it as if it's actually close, but statistically it actually doesn't make any sense to say that's close, you know? How funny is that?
Yeah, I guess it's true because it's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah, and it's within a 52 chance, 1 out of
Yeah.
52. So
There's no way this card could have been any other card
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah,
So
it's very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny to say it's close.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think the audience understands.
Okay.
It's
in out.
It's gonna be out,
We're out.
and then it's going to be a fuck. I'm gonna go with a club.
Joker.
How does that play into the game?
I don't know. I guess it does.
Were we supposed to get rid of the jokers? Probably.
Well, we didn't. I guess it's just a wild card that makes you smoke when you get it.
I like that. Okay. Oh, it's not a bull in here. You're loading it.
Okay. Okay. So it's your
Alright.
turn to deal.
All right.
Okay. I think it's gonna be black.
You're
And
safe.
I think it's gonna be under.
Also safe.
Nice. And I think it's gonna be in.
Ah, Joker.
It's fun.
Yeah, that is fine. I like that being just a wild card. Actually, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna be a another heart. I even thought diamond before I said heart, but I was like, we've gone through quite a bit of diamonds.
I keep doing that. I'm like, it can't be all fucking this one, so it's got to be one of the others that we haven't been seeing as much. And nah, sure shit, it's the one you thought of. How many cards we got left?
We have these 4 and then 2 left.
Yeah, so we were supposed to get rid of the jokers then.
Yeah. So
So I'm gonna say it's black. Ooh.
Got it.
I'm gonna say it's over.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's going to be between or in.
Out.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I think that's most of the stuff we learned today. Damn. That was a big hit. Okay. That was like a microsecond that you hit that for. This still gave you just that monster hit. Okay. What suit is it?
It's gonna be heart. Ooh. The last hit should count for 2, but whatever.
Okay, what are your plugs?
Ooh. All right. Ooh. My name's B Deli. B-D-E-L-L-E-Y. I don't know what it means either, so don't ask me. You can find me on Instagram. After each stops coughing. Okay. You can find me on Instagram at BDeliOfficial. No periods, no punctuation, no spaces. I don't think you can do that anyway. And you can find me on YouTube with the same handle, or just look up BDeli. You can find my music on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, or wherever else you buy music. It's probably there. And I'm also on TikTok. I don't really post much, but I'll try to come up with something.
My name is Malachi. I have 2 YouTube channels. One is Malachi Juarez. YouTube.com/@Malachi Juarez. Juarez. That's, and then the other one is at Malachi Beats. One has my beats music. The other one has my YouTube channel. And we do this podcast. And I have to pee so bad right now. And that's the end of the show.
All right. That was the smoke up.